Last we left the Wildcards, we'd battled with the Duke Katha and his cronies in this hedge maze on the exterior of a Feywild castle. The hags were destroyed by you, while Valentine's blade was destroyed by the power of this frigid ring the crow bore. Regardless, you were alive, and as you took stock of your surroundings, you found no sign of the crow, but did find a handful of trapped Eladrin figures within the maze. You freed them, introduced yourselves, and learned they live within this castle, known as Castle Avalon, alongside Sylvanas. They were in much of rest, and so were you, so you quietly relax and banish your wounds within the master suite of this castle. Afterwards, you search the castle for things that may be helpful. One of the Eladrin, named Eldwin, led you to a tower study within which you found a library of knowledge from across the ages. In addition, you found a painting of some of the heroes of the Silver Age, of Ragnar Stormborn, the fiery Castiel, Reyna Theonestra, Sylvanas himself, Al-Asir, and the wizard Mordenkainen. Valentine also aided in the recovery of this crystalline ring of supposed power. And finally, it seemed time to set off and make your way to the heart of this realm. In need of an audience with the Summer Queen, you departed on boats, traveling the majority of the day along the Shimmer Run River, and finally arrived on the Somerset Isle. The Summer Queen herself seemed to be higher up on these floating islands that were above the main island. It was deemed more prudent to speak with her immediately than rest, so Lavender imbued the majority of your crew with the ability to fly, and you made your way up to the edge of Senelise, court of the Summer Queen. At the top of this magnificent garden, Titania greeted you all warmly, and you spoke at length with this beautiful archfey goddess. You discussed possible motives behind the crow, the power of the weapon he now wielded, the need to end this soon, the hint of a weapon that could replace Heartbreaker for a certain warlock, and finally of the path forward through use of an ancient runic bloodstone. You decided to rest before pursuing your goals, and as Titania ushers you through this tree-based portal, you return to the beach side of Somerset, and find comfortable rooms are provided for you. And as the door closes, you are left to your own devices. We pick up tonight. So, what do you guys want to do?
Before Hondo asks, I'll ask, do we all get our own room?
You have 4 adjoining rooms, kind of in like a beach hut type suite.
Oh yeah.
With little walkways between. There's kind of 4 as they kind of cross over this small little waterway that passes beneath, basically right along the beach side. So technically split up in 2s for your group. I guess, yeah. And then 1 for your animals. Fern's not there, I'm sorry.
He'll be back. And actually Keith's not there either.
He's not there either, so just the 3 rooms then.
It's devastating. Okay, yeah.
I'll take my own room.
Okay. So
4 are provided. However you want to divvy them up.
Let's spend a lot of time on this. Let's really dive into this for a while.
You're blurry.
Yeah, why am I blurry? Come back.
Baby, come back.
Come back. There we go.
Yeah, there it is. Let's go summon it. Before bed, I don't know if people have things they want to do before that, but I definitely want to, or I guess I do it after my long rest, is like the Hex Warrior thing on the cool
on
blade.
Thorn.
Yeah, on Thorn.
That I think you can. I mean, I want to say it's over a short rest that you do that. So in theory, you could take an hour to wind down before rolling into your long rest. That'd be part of your long rest. I have no problem with that. That makes sense.
I think it says after a long rest, but it's all the same. So it's all good.
6 of 1 to me.
It's
you're gonna do this.
Item, so.
You're gonna do this as part of your long rest. Away you go. You're good. Is there anything you collectively as a group want to accomplish before we go?
I think I'll have a group meeting. Yeah, you guys want to have a quick chat, quick talk? Lav, I know you just shottied that room, but do you want to just wait 1 sec before you?
Yeah, I got what I wanted, so I will talk to you.
How are we feeling? How are we feeling about everything that's going on right now?
I think that's a question for you.
How am I feeling? I feel weird. I feel like we really ran into this head first, which is what we always do. I mean, Hondo literally was compelled to run through a bunch of brambles into a tree, but I don't know. I don't like being puppeted around, and I don't know. I feel nervous. I don't know what to believe anymore. We got my uncle stirring shit, and I don't believe that my patron has it out for me or anything like that, but
You don't believe that your patron has it out for you, but do you believe that this woman was your patron?
the woman we just saw,
Yeah.
I don't know, because I had this dream before getting here that my patron was in like incredible pain. It was like
And
a
she
vision.
seemed pretty okay.
She said at the top she was doing all right, something like that. And I mean, she's a god or like an archfey. I don't know. What do you guys think?
She, from what I could see, she did seem to care about you, but
But everyone cares about me. I have one of those faces.
that's not true.
You're right.
You make a lot of enemies.
Like a very punchable face, you mean?
Yeah, enviable face.
Yeah, like a super punchable face.
Because you love me so much.
the affection she had for you was, from what I could see, was legitimate. I don't know the motivation behind it. It's really hard to lie to me. And she didn't lie outright, from what I could tell.
Okay.
But just because you're not lying outright doesn't mean that you're not hiding anything. I've only really came across one person who's I've had a hard time reading like that, and he consistently never tells the full truth.
I look at Gord, then I look at
Wait, talking about Hondo?
Hondo.
No, not in this
Then
room.
I say Raymond.
No, Alexander.
Oh,
He's
No,
like a love
I have a
interest
good
or
vibe
something?
on him.
He's a good person. I trust him, but it's because I've known him for like 3 years consistently. This is someone who we just met, and I understand that you've known of her or have been connected to her for a while. Just be wary. From what I could see, it didn't seem like it was someone who was impersonating someone else, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other motivations going on. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I feel like you had a good read on it too, when it was like, what if there's... Who said the Doob Katha free? That was a good point that the Archfey said, or someone brought up. And then also, why are they stirring shit here? What's the end game here that they're trying to do? Is this all a distraction to keep us from the real quest, which is very bad news when we go back to the material plane, if we make it? Yeah, I'm the guiltiest person here. I just charge headlong into everything with very little thought behind it. So if you guys can help me weather that storm. I know, Hondo, I'm looking at you for restraint, and I feel weird about it too. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to try and do something tonight before bed, kind of bond myself to this weapon, and hopefully that'll let my spellcasting abilities come back.
Bond yourself, eh?
Pardon me, Hondo. God, I hope we're not sharing a room tonight. For many, many reasons. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad you're all here. That makes me feel safer.
Of course.
Here, by the way, Brawley, here's your canteen back. I've been carrying it this whole journey.
Just let me know.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right. I guess bedtime, unless anyone else wants to share anything.
I think
Gord,
we
what do
should-
you feel? Gord, you've kind of had like dealings with weird stuff. What's your read on this whole situation?
I agree with everything you said. This is the way.
Do you think I should be worried?
I mean, no worry that anything else we've ever gotten through.
That's the sagest advice I've ever heard.
There have been a couple of scenarios I wish we were a little bit more worried. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, that's fair.
As long as we go into whatever we're going into with clear heads, and
Full hearts.
that's not what I was going to say, but let's just not let emotions govern whatever happens here. That's all I'm saying. I know it's hard.
Yeah.
And this one feels a little more personal. But.
Yeah, but you're right. Okay, I'm maybe just gonna like sit outside on the beach and do my thing. I don't want Hondo to watch me when it happens. It's gonna make me self-conscious.
Okay. Val makes his way out onto the beach, and it is again kind of not unnerving, but just another weird reminder. There is no sunset. It is in a perpetual golden hour, and though you've spent the entire day and two days, you've not seen like a moon. You've not seen even a sun necessarily. It always seems to be in a state of setting or rising, and it's just kind of a weird mindfuck to constantly have that. Though, as you enter or exit the hut and out onto the beach again, it is beautiful. It is as tropical sunset as you could imagine, 24/7. It's kind of breathtaking, but with an air of weird. But Valentine, you settle into the sand and begin going through your process. And though, like I say, it's not a attunement process, it will be kind of this is your flavoring of it, but it will be over your full long rest as you brought the note to me. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before they crash?
I'm going to rip a piece of fabric off of the sheets in a different room and then use mending to make myself an eye mask because it's so bright.
Makes sense.
Out of a
Easy
different
enough.
room too. So.
Yeah.
Easy enough. You guys are pushing the boundaries of exhaustion. You guys have traveled pretty far today by boat to get here from Castle Avalon. But as a reminder, Allie, Lavender, Hondo, and Mary, the four of you retrieved books from the Library of Sylvanas, and those can be read over a period of time over your short or long rests or just whatever downtime you have. So if you ever want to throw those in there, just let me know, and it'll take a bit of time to get through all of the knowledge. Obviously, you can't read a book incredibly fast, none of you are speed readers, but let me know. But nonetheless, you guys settle in for a night of relatively calm and comfortable sleep. As Valentine, you feel comfortable. Your connection to this blade is complete for the time, and you two return to a bed. You all fall into sleep. The warmth of the realm of summer comforts you in beds of silken sheets. It is not so hot as to be uncomfortable. The temperature and the sound of the loch beyond and the jungle above lulls you into a rather peaceful sleep. And you each dream vividly and wildly, fantastic creatures and these mind-bending oddities of the realm of wonder and whimsy that you find yourselves in. But as the night continues on, the wondrous creatures in your dreams turn violent. These fantastic beasts are at war with one another, fur torn, fangs gnash, claws tearing through flesh. And it's not just the creatures. As the beasts war with one another, the trees above come to life. Their verdant leaves grow withered and fall as they raise bare branches above and bring them down atop the creatures below. Bones shattering, the earth cracks, and from within the cracks in the ground, a mist erupts, cold and biting. The creatures in the trees recoil, but not quick enough, and the mist grows quickly, sweeping across the land, enveloping it. And in your mind, as you dream, your dreams grow foggy and dark. That's where it ends for the most of you. But Valentine, where this fog and darkness pervade your mind, you continue moving through a forest, through a jungle, and you can only make out vague shapes in the fog. They're unmoving, and then you hear something, a crunch, a heavy footfall crunching through frozen earth. It seems directionless, but then grows louder. Then more, several of them, heavier. They don't seem to grow any closer, however, but the sound continues to grow. No matter where you look, it's just barren ground and thick fog. And then on the horizon, this blue light erupts. It's moving and growing and suddenly on top of you in seconds. It's all-encompassing, freezing, and then nothing. Emptiness. For too long. And all of you come to. Conscious, comfortable, in your beds. The morning greets you, and it's not a frigid wasteland. still that of a summer's day, golden hour still beating through the windows. The light spills in, but despite this light and this warmth that is everywhere, you all kind of do shiver ever so lightly as you come to. Maybe it does feel a little cooler. Maybe it's just a lingering of the dream. But nonetheless, you are rested, and you have the day ahead of you. What do you guys do?
Oh, that was a good one. Everybody else have a good sleep?
Not really. I had like a spooky dream. I was being chased in a forest, and it was cold, and there's fog.
Oh my god, this guy needs a bedtime routine. You know what I'm talking about?
Where'd you get that mask from?
Oh, I made it.
Is that why there was a hole in my bed?
There's a hole in your bed? You should really talk to reception about that.
Guess we're gonna go to reception.
Anyone else cold?
I was chilly.
Yeah, those silk sheets didn't do shit.
No. I mean, it's bright out. It shouldn't be this chilly.
Well, we know that I feel like the Feywild's that like cold is spreading. There's bad shit happening here.
This place is fucking weird.
Yeah. This is not as cool as I was hoping it would be. Or maybe too cool.
It seems creepy, to be honest. I think all the people here are kind of creepy too. It seems like they're trying to trick us or something.
I feel like that's the Feywild vibe. I was just thinking it would be a lot of fun. It's less fun, more scary.
So what's our plan?
Okay, so we know we're going to Titania, and she said we're going to go to Gale Eden, as I recall, the realm of the Fade, where there's the Lady of Light, Dahlia Orphanstone?
Finstra.
Bloodstone is the thingy that we're using.
We're going to use a bloodstone because he has that ring of winter. We can't scry on him or something, but we can use this bloodstone to find him. But it's going to hurt, I think. I'm not looking forward to it for me. That's what I think we're going to do. But I am worried about going through a portal, and who knows what's on the other side, so we should just be ready for anything. Hondo, I know that doesn't surprise you, because I can see by the glistening sweat across your almost nude form that you've been shadowboxing for hours.
Yes, I got up pretty early and I feel immaculate.
Excellent. All
Is there
right.
anything else you want to ask your patron before we leave? Is there anything else we need to know?
Why didn't she give anything for you to replace Heartbreaker? Why was she like, oh, I'll give you the thing, just like after you're done the hardest part of your journey?
Well, I think she said we have to go find it, right?
Oh, you have
to try to get more information about that.
Maybe we mentioned that. I think I might bring up the dude Katha, maybe ask a bit more info, like why he was imprisoned. Kind of like skip past that, maybe see if she's willing to talk about that.
I mean, trying to find her full motivations might not hurt, but I mean, legitimately at this point, this isn't good for her realm. Of course she's going to want to help us here, because hopefully we can help take care of whatever the problem is.
He was unleashed from the plane of pandemonium. That sounds fucking terrifying. So let's hope we never have to go there. Okay, there's one big thing I want to try and do, and that's summon my sweet, sweet boyfriend. So let me see if I can do this.
Sure. Are you going to do it inside one of the rooms?
No, I want to go to the beach.
Okay.
You're
basically on the beach, so easy enough to step outside, and you settle down, and you, for the first time, begin to cast your Find Greater Steed to pull firm from here, which is kind of weird. But also without Heartbreaker as your focus for it. And you're kind of fumbling with Thorn to try and understand how it works. It doesn't have the same dexterity as your full wrist movement with a blade, and it's attached to your whole arm, so it's a little different, but nonetheless still possible. However, as you begin to come to the completion of the actual ritual part, as you finish the words that go along with the incantation, I need you to make a charisma check.
You got it. Ooh, not great. Oh, just straight check, right?
Just with that plus 5.
11.
Okay. You finish the incantation.
It's always this check. I roll so low.
The 4th level spell? You finish the incantation, you feel the words crystallize before you, and you see these symbols, the arcane sigils that you've hastily kind of crafted in the sand, and you see them light up with magic as they normally do. However, the magic almost, you see it rebound and strike your chest. God. In your chest, where your heart sits, this ice pick just reaches and cracks out across your chest. You take 11 points of cold damage.
Oh, God.
The spell is used, but no effect has been achieved.
This is the worst. I take a second, collect myself, brush off some sand, throw some sand, and then storm back inside.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
What happened?
Didn't work. Let's go talk to Titania.
What ended up happening?
I really fucking hurt. Really fucking hurt. Let's
Your
go.
own spell. You hurt yourself.
Yeah. Let's go talk to Titania and let's go find this bloodstone, because I want to fucking murder my uncle so I can get my shit back.
Okay. Are you guys going to fly? Are you going to? How do you plan to scale the floating islands of Senelise?
And some of us can climb. We don't have to be so worried about.
Yeah, maybe just a morning walk. No spells.
Let's see how
there
far we
is
can
a
get.
physical way to get there. It just takes time.
Let's just go for a walk. Got some pent up anxiousness.
Absolutely.
To burn off.
And very easy to spot with your passive perception / investigations. You can see the floating islands are directly above you, and near the closest one, you can't quite make out the island that the garden, the Senelise itself, the court actually sits atop. It's too high up in the cloud tops and blocked by the first landmass of these floating islands. But what you can see is this tall spire of natural rock along what would be like the northern tip of the island that you're on the ground. You can see it rise up above the from the beach. It rises above the jungle treetops, and you can see a long kind of rope bridge that connects this peak of this spire of rock to the first of the floating islands. And you guys start making your way there very easily, with no need for checks. It is actually quite a nice hike, like just a casual hike for you guys. This is fucking nothing. However, as you pass through the village itself and through the jungle, most of you notice the party atmosphere that you saw the night previous is gone. And maybe that's not so uncommon. It's morning. Maybe it's not a 24/7 party. But you seem to see less people out and about. There seem to be less frivolity, and you don't seem to think that there's anybody gone from the island. As you're passing through, there are shuttered windows, and you can hear people inside talking, and mostly in Elvish. And as you walk, you do see some people are out walking and sitting alone on the beach as you walk by, but there seems to be a similar air of anxiety is probably the best way to put it. The joyful nature of this land seems to have dissipated somewhat. But nonetheless, you push forward and begin to climb this kind of spiral of rock, and you begin to make your way across this first it's not so much a rope bridge as a thick vine and timber wood. But it seems very well maintained and sturdy beneath your feet. And you make the first crossing atop this island, and see the first of the physical challenges, so to speak, where there is no rope bridge from this island to the next island up in the sky, but instead you see a series of vines that kind of hang off of the edge. They collect kind of around the base of the floor of this one island where the kind of peak of one just connects, and you've got a little gap between, but the vine lands on top of your side. And it seems you will have to at least pull yourselves up and climb the vine, like rope climb the vine. You wager about maybe 20, 30 feet.
I start taking out the carpet.
It's a minute or two of slowly pulling this piece by piece by piece out of the bag.
Just staring up at this island.
But a minute or so, 2 minutes pass, and the carpet has been unfurled.
I don't know if you strong people want to climb this, but I've just had a bad morning. I'm not taking any chances.
It's fine. We can fit 4 on the carpet, yeah?
Olav, do you want to ride up on with this?
As long as Hondo isn't the mean person driving it.
Yeah. I'll fly it.
Okay.
Gord,
No offense.
Gord, do you want to come on this too?
Sure.
Hondo, are you riding the carpet, or are you going to climb?
I will climb.
Allie and Mary?
Good to climb.
I can also climb.
Okay. Then from Allie, Mary, and Hondo, can I please have athletics checks?
Can I know how happy I am that Gord is also taking carpet with us? And I start braiding his cat hair.
Or do you permit Lavender to braid the fur of like either your chest or your paws, because your helmet is keeping anything along your head free from tampering?
My chest, I guess?
Just so you know, it'll look dope.
I was going to say his tail, but that's gone.
No.
Tail.
Tail.
Yeah, unfortunately, Valentine is not permitted to watch as Lavender and Gord go through this, and you fly the carpet. It's surly.
Immediately regretting to invite us back.
I would like to. I was going to go up, and then I'll just like kind of hover in case one of them has an accident.
Sure. Kev, I saw you roll a 10. What's your 18 total? Allie and Mary?
24.
And Mary?
I only rolled a 15. Just not great for me.
Not great for you, but more than enough for a simple vine climb up this mountain wall. And a few minutes of climbing, you guys make your way to the top of this. Though both Hondo and Mary, though you guys are light and dexterous, Alana kicks the shit out of you by just hand, boom. She's over the top with nothing. Doesn't even think about it.
Hurry.
Doesn't break a sweat, nothing. She's carrying the most armor. It's ridiculous. But the three of you make your way to the top of this island, and it is smaller than the last at the top. And Valentine, you kind of just keep climb along as you see about 100-ish feet across of there's a pathway that is a well-groomed path from one end to the other. But on either side of this path, you see now like flora and fauna, just like jungle growing up all around, but well-maintained and also rather beautiful. But you do see the three of you another rope climb ahead of you. So as you guys approach,
I'm gonna keep
athletics
this
checks if you're gonna climb. Athletics checks.
I'm keeping that carpet moving.
Yep, the three on the carpet, no issues.
I got a 21.
Yeah, just another one.
Yeah, sorry, another athletics check, Kevin. 21 again. Allie just boom, boom, boom. Hondo quickly keeping pace as well, actually.
Attaboy.
Very well, and Mary.
25.
The three of you now seeing a little air of competition just start to scramble up very, very quickly and athletically. And still, despite the heat of this summer afternoon / morning / evening, it's all the same. Make your way to the top and pull yourselves up onto a different area than where you first landed, but nearby the last time you were here the evening previous, the top of Senelise Court of the Summer Queen. It is on all sides as you kind of pull yourselves up, and as the carpet comes to land, there's kind of a rim around the entire exterior that you can see is a little lower, and kind of in 4 places on all sides, you climb up to this kind of central portion where the queen was previously. But you guys are all now landed, safe and sound. What do you do?
All right, let's be respectful. Maybe try and get a few more answers, and then let's go track down this bloodstone.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab Val's elbow before everyone moves forward. It's okay to not be okay. Just don't let it. Understand it's there, and don't let it cloud your judgment going forward. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not good at not being okay, but I feel better.
You don't have to talk about it, but I guess we're here if you need it. But just clear head. That's all. You handle the bad shit later.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll talk later. Let's handle this part first. And then I just squeeze her hand and then keep walking.
A little 3. I love you.
No, not that much. But I pictured you doing that to Valentine's other hand as he turns.
No, I would never do that to Valentine's hand. I'd do it.
I'll keep walking.
With Valentine in the lead, the wildcards follow, and you guys crest Senelise, where you see the 3 stone thrones in the center of this immaculate, beautiful garden. These kind of faint, lightly like flower petals are just kind of constantly kind of swirling around. It smells amazing. It smells like cinnamon, but not overpowering in any way. It just immediately kind of alleviates some of the fear and anxiety you've been feeling, but not entirely. However, in the central throne, you see once more the gossamer adorned, glowing figure of Titania. As you approach Valentine at the lead, she beams a wide, immaculate smile towards you, but says nothing until as you get closer.
Good morning. Or evening. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not sure.
That's okay. It is not for me. There is no such morning, evening, afternoon. It's just now.
Good now. I think we're pretty much set to move on. Just had a couple things we were wondering.
Of course.
Would you be willing to talk about why the Duke Katha was imprisoned?
Of course. I thought we had spoken of it, but perhaps I was brash and not wanting to open up old wounds. But for you, answers and truth surely are deserved. She kind of looks away from you and grows a little wistful. Says, long ago, a young man came to our court. He claimed to be of the Deep Winter realm, but that he disagreed with the Queen of Air and Darkness of Aurelia and her rulings. That he hoped that he would serve under my court and protect my people should we allow him within. He was charming and persuasive, and we saw no reason to turn him away. He worked his way within our court, made friends, many friends, alliances within the realm. But it always seemed to be my eye he sought. He wished to be part of this, she kind of gestures around her, to be part of the inner council. He claimed to want what was best for the Feywild. But it was all a show. When his deception of who he was came to light, of the bloodline you know he shares, our council sought him out to explain himself. However, with himself exposed, he used this unknown following he had gained behind our backs to strike back at us. He had worked his way into the minds of many of my realm, convince them that they could be something more outside of my light. He turned some of my people against me, and when I confronted him about what he really was, he turned to flee, but my Green Knight was there. My mate, Lord Oberon, caught him. And he should have been banished from our realm and never seen again. But he is even more cunning and evil than I had anticipated. He killed Oberon and roused his followers into an uprising. It led to the destruction of far too many of my court. I had somehow been blind to all of this, whether by his doing or my carelessness. There was pain dealt to the Fae. However, he was caught, and he and his followers were duly punished in kind. It's been a long thorn in my side, a pain that I have to endure. A mistake. And now one, sadly, that passes on to you.
What became of this following?
I believe you made mention you had dealt with some of them. They are known to my people as the Dubsith, or the Darklings to some of you. Wicked, tiny creatures. Sunlight to them is as water to vampires, as light to vampires even. I cursed them from ever enjoying the light of a summer's day ever again. This will work too with the Duke Katha. He suffers from the same affliction. However, he is somewhat more cunning than his foolish followers. I'm sure he will have ways of protecting himself of that. You've seen him. You know my outrage. You've witnessed the effect of it, I suppose. That is but one scar I left on him, and he has done far greater to me.
I've got a thorn for him too. So I have this problem where I'm trying to cast spells that you bestowed power upon me, and sometimes I just can't get it through. And instead of them working, I feel this icy pain, physical pain. Do you know what's going on?
I know not for sure. However, it would seem, as I say, the crow is more cunning and harsh than I ever give him credit for. I know not if it is a curse or what pain he has inflicted upon you, but with Heartbreaker shattered, he infected the connection between the two, between you and I. I fear that until he is destroyed, or we are not connected anymore, this pain may never go.
Is there a way to temper it, or at least improve our chances?
I believe, she kind of looks across you, says, I believe within your midst you have the capabilities of providing inspiration for those in need. This may be of use. I fear a simple restoration will not do for this. Perhaps lessen it in a moment of dire need, but I fear its effect will only be temporary, and this biting will return.
I'm less of a half measures kind of guy. I'm good for the full measure.
I am sorry, again. I wish this had never come to you.
I'm sorry about Oberon. I didn't know that.
Thank you.
That's good enough for me. Do you guys have any other questions, or do you want to get this next chapter started? Hondo, any question you've been itching to ask the Queen of the Summer Court, one of the most powerful archfey in existence?
Well, I just wanted to know, has she ever worked?
She's right here. You can ask her. You can ask her. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. You know, how can we trust you not to have worked with the Ducata yourself?
A valid point, a valid question. I think by my actions in informing you of his weakness, of sending you to find and hopefully with the intent to kill him, I should implore upon you that I want him destroyed. Not typically the words of an ally.
No, but we've dealt with people who have crossed us, and we don't want to be crossed again.
You're ever the suspicious one, my friend. And that will keep you alive. I wish I had that fortitude. Maybe my Oberon would still be here. Perhaps I, like your Valentine, I'm a little too headstrong and rush into things. Sometimes we need someone maybe not quite like yourself, but maybe some of your other fellows, to provide words of caution. And it is heartwarming to see it is you in this case. I have watched many of you in battle through Valentine's eyes. I have seen the love he shares that you all share. I have felt his pain and yours. I want nothing more than to see this pain of his go away and all of you to be free and happy. However, I also have a realm to protect. I have duties. And I have a chosen one who hopefully will accomplish these goals along with me.
I want you all to be free and happy. Point.
You want to insight check that?
I'm gonna try.
Yeah?
Oh god, I have to roll good. Ooh, I did not roll good. I rolled my minimum.
I rolled the natural 20.
Oh, so my 19 doesn't, or my 19 doesn't mean shit.
No, but what it does mean is she is trying to implore Hondo in this case, in this line of questioning, that she means only the good for her realm and for Valentine, and as you guys are Valentine's chosen family, she wants no harm to come to you that would bring pain to him. You can sense there is genuine love for Valentine, and maybe not quite to the same extent to the rest of you, but as you are a family of his, he cares for. She seems to care, but you can certainly tell she's trying. She's trying to. She needs you as much as you guys need to use her in this case.
All right. Hondo, that was a rousing speech, and I appreciate your words. It's good to know you're as true a friend as I expected. I think we're ready to go to Gale Eden. Anything we should know? Any customs or anything like that before we head off?
Names?
You will be meeting two of my, not directly of my court, but of similar of your own stature. Dahlia or Finsra, and Novarin. They are powerful allies, and they will see you through this ritual. Perhaps I will have Nova head off on a quest of his own. But I wish for them to be there with you for this ritual at the very least. They will meet you on the other side, and they will take you directly to the Bloodstone.
All right. I'm ready.
Okay. She stands from her... she stands taller than all of you, somewhat imposingly so. And she kind of walks around the side of the three thrones and kind of beckons you to follow, and traces her finger up the side of a tree. And you see, as she does, this like dazzling kind of sparkling light emit. And from within the line she traces, you see just whoosh, the tree itself open. And beyond, through this opening in this archway of this tree, you see what looks like a forest of autumn colors, just brilliant oranges and reds. And you can faintly see two figures standing. They seem elven in nature on the opposite side. Difficult to make out through this magic. But the forest floor is just scattering of fallen autumn leaves. And you see what seems to be the Faded Realm on the other side. And she just gestures for you to step through.
I'll look at the group, give a little nod, look up at her, and be like, see you soon, and then good now, and then I'll walk through.
Good luck. Valentine steps through, and the rest of you follow. Mm-hmm. There's a moment of familiar teleportation-like feeling where you feel queasy and kind of suddenly like thrust around, but you step through onto the solid ground on the other side. All of you begin to kind of continue to funnel out of this tree, and as the last of you do, the tree just whoosh, closes behind to a solid bark exterior. You look around, and indeed the forest here is vast on all sides and entirely covered in orange and yellow and red, and a sparse smattering of green leaves above of the most picturesque autumn forest. And before you, you see two figures that come into clarity as you fully step through this spell, through the tree. You see a feminine Eladrin elf. She seems to be similar in nature to the realm around you. She seems, her hair is kind of flipped out on the sides, but is of a vibrant red that at the tips turns to orange and yellow. Her skin is kind of the same, kind of a light brown for the majority of it, but every now and again you see almost like a rippling sheen of red that kind of passes through, and vibrant orange eyes. She seems to be wearing like a robed tunic that is cinched at the waist by a belt. She has a couple of satchels and bags. She seems to have similar accoutrement of that of an adventurer as yourselves. And what look like very soft leather boots. But she smiles and is leaning and standing, holding this staff, this kind of winding piece of wood, but at the top you can see a crystalline moon is kind of affixed to the top, and draped off of that and around it are some green and red and orange vine that seems to kind of just decorate the exterior of this staff. The male to her left is more to the physicality of the elves, Eladrin that you met in Somerset. They are golden, and he is this armored individual. He is, and his armor it shimmers like a platinum, or very polished and well-maintained steel, but golden in skin and hair that is very straight and long and straight, and longer pointed ears, and a very fixed stare, but with a kind of a wry smile as well. You can see one hand is kind of on the hilt of a blade in his at his belt, but with his hands on his hips. One just resting at the kind of connection of his belt and blade, the other just on the other side of his hip. He wears this long red cape that kind of drapes down, just touching the top of the leaves at his feet.
And that's his stare and stance.
They both look to you. The male smiles and he puts a hand and says, "My name is Novarin." And he gestures to his right. And my name is Dahlia O'Frinsra. A pleasure to meet you all. And he kind of steps forward again and looks at Valentine and says, "You are Valentine, then?"
My name gets around, yeah.
"We have heard much about you. We have heard also of the passing of a friend and colleague of ours, Sylvanas, and that it was you and your fellows here who found him and brought his body home to be laid to rest. And for that, you have our thanks."
You're welcome. Yeah, we've come through to see about avenging him as well.
And we will be doing the same alongside.
I try and keep my excitement in a cool way. That sounds great.
Our
And
Lady,
I look at Mary and I'm like, pretty cool.
he says, "Our Lady has instructed us as your guides and as hopeful lords and ladies of light, and you to be. Hopefully a bit of initiation of sorts. In a good way." Dahlia kind of steps forward and says, she asks for all of your names, the rest of you, who she has yet to be introduced to. And as she kind of goes along and meets each of you, you see Nova less interested, but nods and smiles along with the rest. But as Dahlia kind of introduces herself to each of you, she seems very joyful and very kind of perky, despite the kind of dour aspect that you are all in meeting of. But as she finishes meeting each of you, she says, "We have a little bit of a journey ahead of us to head to the south side of the lake behind. There is a marked place in which we will have to venture beneath into the tunnels and beneath the lake itself. A word of caution, the tunnels here are sometimes occupied by creatures of the Fey Dark. But the journey should not take long, and there are plenty of us. I fear nothing more than a small squabble, if anything. But if you are ready, we have prepared to set out."
Yeah, I think we're always ready. Let's lead on.
Brilliant. Follow me. And Nova and Dahlia begin to kind of lead around as you kind of follow this trail that they seemed you were standing on. As you leave the kind of cover and shade of this massive tree that you stepped through in the first place, you do in fact see to your right now, there is this large, vast loch or lake to your right. On its surface, you can see just like faint smattering of leaves or of autumn colors are kind of just delicately sitting along the surface.
While we're walking, and as an excuse to use your dope map again, could I pull out the map and be like, are we over here in this lower left corner?
Dahlia pulls back, and as you ask the question, she gestures down to the city in the bottom left, this like blue looking like tower city.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "No, we are up in this area here, a little north of there, across the Thundering Boughs and the loch here." She points to this small green, kind of this smaller village or city. That says, "This is Gale Eden here. We have to make our way around the opposite side of this loch through the Thundering Boughs, but we're up in this area here."
Cool.
You've never been to the Fae then?
First time for all of us, I think.
For all, okay. Well, I wish it was on better circumstances, truthfully.
Yeah, same. When I thought I would come here, I thought it would be a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. It's been less of that.
Many do. Many hope for that. And sadly, it is never quite that.
Yeah.
I'm certain you've heard of tales of people of your realm slipping beyond into ours and never returning. Not all of those are just tales. Some are rather true.
Great. Hopefully we're not one of those ones.
I highly doubt it.
Is this in common? Sorry, did I miss that?
Good question.
Okay, great. At least you know the translate.
Yeah.
They do seem to be speaking common.
They say it's going to be fine.
Yeah, we're all just like that.
But yeah, she points out where you're destined to journey along, but makes her way around.
What time of day is it here? Is it like...
Right now, it's difficult to tell based on the heavy cover of the trees, but as you look out over the lake, you can see the sky here is... it is more dusk, but not sunset. It is kind of, again, the same purples of dusk, but not quite dark. And it seems to also just never really change. It's kind of like that the entirety of your journey as you make your way for probably about a half hour on this walk around the lake, having bits and pieces of conversation. The two of them, Mary, you gather, both of them keep looking at Valentine, and like they look at him and then share a look between each other, and then kind of continue, and then maybe 10 minutes later, one of them looks back and almost looks like they're about to say something or ask something, and then dash it and continue just pushing forward. And Mary, you just happen to pick up that this like interaction twice it happens before they reach a point.
Valentine's like stumbling on a root, just like stubbing his toe. Son of a...
Does it look curious or judgy?
Definitely not judgy.
Okay.
It seems like either they want to ask a question, or they want to they want him to ask a question. It's difficult to tell just based on a couple of looks. It doesn't seem negative. It seems curious.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't gather anything negative from it. But nonetheless, you reach a point about half an hour of walking around this lake, and as you do, you hear kind of off in the forest, you hear this thundering sound. It doesn't seem to they don't seem to react, the two of the figures with you, but it grows very, very loud and just constant.
Hey, Dallin, Nova, what's that sound?
What sound?
The loud thundering sound. Do you guys hear that?
Oh, sorry. Of course. We are in the Thundering Boughs, home of the Centaur. They are likely just a band of them are traveling nearby. They do make a bit of a racket. You learn to kind of block it out.
Wait, they're like a thing?
What, centaurs?
Oh, centaurs. I missed that part.
What did you think I said?
Oh, like Leah just totally skipped that word. I was trying to find thundering music.
They're like horse people.
Okay.
Indeed, they are very wise, and they can be very kind. However, also very strong-headed and strong-willed, and prefer to keep to themselves. We try not to mess with their area too much. No need to start any fights we don't need to.
I look at Hondo.
But Dahlia seems to take a step closer to the lock, and you can see there's this large just this single boulder that's kind of sat up out of the rock, out of the lake. Sorry, and it just kind of leans up and just rests just up and out of onto the edge of the banks of this loch. And she traces the tip of her staff along the front of this rock, along the length of it, and you watch as the walls just split apart. And you see a tunnel immediately before you. It's about 10 feet wide, and kind of it's dark within, and you can hear just the constant dripping sound of water kind of permeating, and you see immediately down there is a very slight slope, no steps, and it is unlit, and you can see puddles immediately as light kind of catches on them. But they turn to you and say, it will be dark in there for those of you who do not have dark vision. However, we could provide light if you need that. It may just attract something, but as I said before, I'm not too concerned. Whichever you're most comfortable with.
Look to Lavender. It's up to you. I'll put my goggles on.
Are you good in the dark? You don't really like the dark.
I'm good everywhere. I do have a torch.
We can provide light if you need light. That's not an issue. It's just the potential caution that the bringing light with us may give away that we are coming through, and some things may come out and try and protect their home. We are not necessarily intruding. Truthfully, they would be.
To be honest, whether we have light or not, we got this guy with us, points to Hundo. He's for sure going to let people know that he's here. He's usually yelling at all times of the day. He pretty much woke up an entire forest and tried to kill us. So I think we will go with the light.
Understood. And she looks at Nova, and he draws his sword from its sheath. And you see this beautiful blade. Its hilt, as you've only seen thus far, is gold and onyx kind of gem inlaid, and as he pulls it free, it shimmers on its sides of like this crystalline side but a golden interior blade. Its hilt is it flares out and then comes back in, and it too is gold, and it kind of catches the light and refracts it in like this rainbow hue, and with a word he spins and it ignites with flame. And he holds it ahead of him and begins to take lead down into this tunnel. Dahlia nods and she follows a step behind.
Valentine looks at Thorn on his wrist and then looks at that guy's sword and then puts his hand where Heartbreaker used to be and then follows after.
I also do a very poor job of trying to not look impressed with how cool his sword is.
Okay. What's the marching order?
I said I was walking so I can go in front of our group, following behind them.
You can go 2 by 2 if you want to. If someone wants to go in pairs as well, just keeping that up in your options.
You can stay with me if you want.
That's to you.
I would love to. Because, to be honest, I'm a little freaked out about this place. I just didn't want to be in the dark and also freaked out.
Well, that's okay. If we stay together, we should be okay.
I squeeze her hand. I love you.
Allie and Laugh follow.
Oh, God.
Hondo Marigord.
I walk alone.
Hondo follows
A
along.
lonely road. The only one
only
that he has ever known.
I'll walk up with Val because I want to kind of keep an eye on the people in front of us.
Please do.
Sure. Mary up front.
I can tell if they're going to be sketchy.
Gord taking the rear.
Can I also cast one with shadows?
Ooh, what is that?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. I think you just turn invisible. Is it a time limit on that one? How does that work? Can you read that?
It just says when you are in an area of dim light or darkness, you can use your action to become invisible until you move or take an action or reaction.
So you can essentially, like, when you cast it, you're supposed to like stay still. So I would say I'm cool with it because it's like a free thing. When you want to, like whenever you guys stop when something is going to happen.
When we're standing around, I'm like invisible.
100%. I'll mark that down. That's totally cool. But as soon as you go to move, it will break. So you can't do it constantly. Cool. Gourd invis. Cool. Okay. As I said, Lav, do you light your torch?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just curious where the sources of light are, because Nova will be a couple of people ahead of you now. Like, his light won't quite reach you. So if you light up, you're kind of in the middle. Everyone in the group is going to have light.
Okay.
So you guys begin to follow Nova and Dahlia down into this what looks like it looks relatively natural, this tunnel, but you can tell there are parts of it that have been pushed and carved away by magic or by tool. You're not entirely sure. And the constant sound of dripping water permeates the space. And every now and again, the ceiling gets really low and you have to duck. And some of you taller folk kind of scrape across the top of the stone. Not enough to hurt, but you get some water is permeating the top of this cave. And you do find, as the light from both Nova's sword and Lavender's torch, there are catches of rock that kind of stick out and create these long shadows. And you do notice some crevices in the walls that seem low along the ground. And you can see some that look like small tunnels that lead off and away, or are just small little alcoves that are naturally carved away by erosion. But you do notice a couple of little spots as you guys begin to push further in. But 20 minutes or so, nothing comes from any of these crevices. You guys make your way within, not necessarily being incredibly stealthy, as Nova and Dahlia don't seem to be making any move to travel lightly or anything like that. They're traveling at a normal pace, if careful, just given they don't want to bang their head on rock. But 20 minutes or so of journeying through these tunnels that seem to wind every now and again, but for the most part it's pretty straight. You're led to a chamber of natural rock ahead of you. Immediately it's lit by Nova's sword, but not quite to its full extent. As all of you enter, by the time Lavender exits the tunnel and into this cavern space between the two sources of light, you can see it's about a 30-foot space in diameter of natural rock. 60-foot space in diameter of natural rock. And within the walls, as you all kind of begin to fan out, make your way around, you see several more crevices and cracks in the rock around here, where some small passages seem to break off of this larger one, though they don't seem to be large enough for any of you to walk through comfortably. It seems either very thin or very small. Difficult to tell if it's natural or man-made and caved. You're not entirely sure. Across the ceiling and floor, you also find several stalactites and stalagmites are jutting up and around the space. However, you notice, as obviously Val and Mary up front, you first notice as Dahlia makes her way in too, and then as the rest of you follow in, you see Dahlia in the center of this space make her way towards this taller, what looks like a stalagmite at first, but you can see there's no point. It seems more like a pedestal of natural rock, but it seems like it was formed of the natural rock here. You see Dahlia step forward, and she casts a glance across all of you and makes sure everyone is okay and within. And she reaches up and, holding her staff as far as she can, it's about 12 feet to the ceiling, she reaches up and just traces her staff along the rock. And immediately water begins to just pour through and splash down atop her and flood the bottom of this cavern. All of you begin to kind of quickly try and keep your shoes and boots from being covered in it. It was very quickly, about a foot of water begins to kind of fill the floor of this cavern. And you watch as within the water, you see this small thing controlled within the water begin to descend. You see a tablet of stone descend, and under magic seemingly controlled by Dahlia set down the top of this stalagmite pedestal in the middle of the room. As soon as it clears, she waves a hand and the rock above, and the water ceases to fall. Nova steps a little closer, holding his sword aloft, and Dahlia looks to Valentine and says, "We have never truthfully used this magic. It is not of our making. Runic magic is that of the giants, and though we have long history with giants, and have taken many such artifacts and relics from our several centuries of warfare, we've never quite used this one. We know the incantation, but not its direct effect, and we know its purpose. From what we understand, and hopefully as Titania has explained, this bloodstone bears the rune of blood, and with the blood of an ancestor or a relative, it will aid you in finding a connection between the nearest blood relative or ancestor who shares blood of that who contributes blood. In this case, it would seem you share blood with the Dukatha. Is this true?"
Unfortunately.
How does it define nearest? You have other family on a different plane. We don't know where this Dukatha is.
This is why it can be difficult. But from what we understand, it will take us to the nearest source. There's, from vaguely what we understand, there is some mode of being able to control some of how and who it focuses on. As you grow closer, you'll get a better idea of who it is you're tracking. At the very beginning, you'll get an idea of who is the closest, and along following, that may change should someone else be closer. Truthfully, it's not a perfect magic. The giants, while powerful in many ways, they were not always the skilled in the arcane. It's not a perfect system, but in this case, from what we understand, it should help us. Give us a starting point.
All right, well, I'll give it a shot. I'll turn to my group and be like, well, Titania said, we have magic by supporting each other. Does anyone want to support me in this endeavor?
I don't have magic, but I've got your back.
Really, really appreciate that. Anyone have some sort of ability? Sorry, what was that, Hondo?
I'll inspire you. Yes.
Couldn't hear you there. Oh, okay.
I
great.
elbow Hondo in the ribs.
What do you say that's so inspiring to me?
You are more than just that useless sword that you lost.
I smile. And I really actually feel that. And I come up to you and I just put an arm on your shoulder and I say, that honestly means a lot.
You're
with,
welcome.
With renewed confidence, I walk back and I'll click out Thorn.
Okay. The three of you, Dahlia, Nova, and Valentine, take kind of position as a triumvirate around this bloodstone, this ritual of giant making. And Nova keeps his sword held aloft to provide light down. And Val, as you get over top now, kind of standing on this kind of somewhat raised area, you look down onto this stone and you do in fact see what looks like a tablet of stone, and etched within it, as if like a router had cut it out, this perfect Jotun rune of blood. And you don't necessarily speak the language, though on your travels you have become familiar somewhat with the language and runes of the giants. And this looks familiar. However, Dahlia and Nova have kind of a dour look on their face, and they look to you and say, the ritual itself will take care of the incantation and the act, but the act, must be yours. A bloodstone requires blood.
I figured as much. You guys ready?
As soon as the first drop hits, we will begin.
And then I'll
There's
just-
before Val starts. Is there something you wanted to talk to him about before we do any of this?
Oh, to Dahlia and Nova?
Yeah.
They
You look curious on our way here.
truthfully, we were curious if this was true. You shared the bloodline of the Dubkatha. It is... We mean not to be wary. The Queen has given us assurance that you are a faithful and powerful ally of hers and ours. However, as you likely know, the Crow works mysteriously and cunningly to get beneath all of our veils. We only wish to be cautious and to know that he, gesturing to Valentine, that he is aware and hopefully not on the side of the Dubkatha. However, it seems you indeed are as you say.
I'll place the blade against my palm and be like, don't worry, you don't have to worry about me. And then I'll cut my palm and be like, it's my friends you got to worry about. And then I'll put my hand on the bloodstone.
Roll a d6.
2.
Okay. You take 2 points of damage. And as you place your palm down, you feel the stone almost suck the blood within. And it's a weird kind of like sucking sensation from your palm. And you feel the stone begin to kind of heat beneath your palm, and you keep your palm there. And both Dahlia and Nova begin this kind of echoing ritual chant that I don't know if any of you speak Giantish, is in Giantish. And it is odd to hear both of them. It is more guttural and harsh and grunty sounding than you are accustomed to the two of their kind of flowery language. They continue and continue, and the room begins to glow as more blood seeps into the stone itself. Roll another d6.
1.
Nice.
The ritual continues, and for the first minute, you feel this sensation, but the glow is not growing brighter. And both of them kind of look at one another, and you can sense, Valentine and Mary, you guys can sense that they had thought it would work faster. And they kind of look to you, Valentine, with both kind of a sorrowful glance. Roll another d6.
By the way, should I take in that 1 point of damage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then 3.
Okay. They continue the ritual for another minute, and the blood seeps away, and it starts to grow and glow, but faintly, and you can see the blood within is trickling along and begins to kind of start to fill up the swirls of each of the kind of offshoots of the Jotun rune, but not quite done yet. Roll another d6.
Wow.
Okay. So 9 total taken.
Mm-hmm.
2, 1, 3, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it begins to just crest, and you can tell that the ritual is now beginning to kind of repeat itself. The incantation seems to be flowing around and around and around. Roll another d6.
3.
Finally, you see the rune begin to kind of fill with your blood. And all of you around the room, you watch as this finally fills. Valentine, you only see it fill the actual rune with blood, but the rest of you watch as this faint red aura begins to kind of flow outward in a sphere around the 3 atop this pedestal. And you watch as this energy seems tangible in a way. It seems to shift and react to the chanting by Nova and by Dahlia within the chamber. And Val, he'll feel one last kind of suck. I roll another d6.
No, it was a 3 again. I'm going to use another dice.
3 is fine. Do 3.
Okay, fine. 3.
Don't make it worse.
4 3s in a row.
Yeah.
That's 15. You feel this last kind of push of your life force to enrich this ritual. And you watch as the final note of their chant hits and the push happens. The energy above you that's kind of surrounding you, this sphere of reddish tinted energy, congeals to form a blood rune visual above the stone in your hands. It then shifts and becomes a mass of red, like a physical form of a hologram. And it begins to piece a scene before you all. In this red, blood-like material, you see a figure walking in a dark cavern. The blood begins to create large spikes of stalagmites and stalactites that drop from a cavern, in eerie similarity to the cavern you're in now. However, the texture is slightly different. The walls are smooth, reflective, and glassy as if made of ice. This whole scene continues to move through this blood-like stuff, and beyond this main figure, you see other shifting shapes behind in the background, but they are undefined. They're just kind of lumps, masses of this textured material. You see a shift in the color of this red kind of material as it seems light in the scene begins to illuminate the main figure, and you see almost in imperfect replication the burned and melted skin of the Dubkatha stepping forward through the mouth of an icy cavern. You hear the shaking of ground and feel it almost within the cavern around you as you see at his back as the light illuminates the mouth of this tunnel and illuminates these figures walking through. You see massive blue-skinned creatures, frost giants. Difficult to count how many. However, one in particular looks vaguely familiar to most of your party and seems more heavily armored than the rest. You see this figure stride ahead of a horde of giant warriors and begin to exit the cave mouth and walk amidst a land of snow and ice. You see the vision fade and re-enter this stone between Valentine, Nova, and Dahlia. And Val, as this stone kind of thrums beneath your hand with energy, you feel a tug in your mind, kind of just like in the back right of your head, kind of pinpoint in your mind, like something pulling your consciousness north, long a ways away, and faintly kind of pulsating, this like beacon. You also feel that life force remain within the stone. You are currently down 15 max HP.
Ooh, okay.
The ritual seems to fade. This energy within the stone dulls and doesn't constantly pulse anymore, but you can feel the energy still remains within the stone. And Dahlia and Nova look to you and say, well, at least that gives us a starting point. How do you feel?
Feel okay. Feel a little lightheaded. I'm kind of bad at bleeding, but I think I don't like what we saw. Did you guys all see that, or was that just us?
Everyone saw.
You guys said Blav. I don't know if you were there for it. Maybe Brawley, I can't recall. Did that look like the frost giant that helped out with Arendelle? Do I have that wrong?
Make a history check.
See, I thought we took them all down, but maybe we didn't. Or no, only the sons came. The dad stayed there.
9.
Oh,
Difficult to and those of you who were there, actually everyone but Lavender, unfortunately, can make a history check as well if you wish to. Not just Valentine. Yeah, but it's difficult to pinpoint. Kind of just looks like a frost giant. You just happen to be wearing more armor. But
For the listener, back when this one city, Arendelle, where Mary comes from, we fought Egoth, who had one of these terrible artifacts, and then there was a whole war thing. Some giants came. Not a lot of fun.
the Revenant Vow essentially utilized the frost giants of an area nearby Arendelle as war machines to try and take the city as part of the unleashing of the second seal of the Revenant Vow of the Gates of Hell. In that, Egoth was granted the Black Hand, the relic of war, and became the Harbinger of War when he fell in that battle, but was raised again. And the Wildcards destroyed the Jarl's 2 sons, the 2 frost giant sons. But as Mary noted, or as Leah noted there, the Jarl did not come to the battle.
I rolled a 15.
That seems like the Jarl.
Did anyone else? Okay. Did anyone else roll? Shit.
Mary, that seems like the Jarl.
Fuck. Yeah. He made a big, scary speech, or I guess it was technically. There's a lot of disguise going on. Maybe he was just around. Anyway, that's when we went to that place that was north of Crow's Fall. I can't remember the name of the camp, but
It was within the Gauntlgrim range. It didn't necessarily have a camp. It just seemed to be
Like a
you
temporary
weren't
camp?
sure. It was a temporary war camp of the Revenant Vow, but it seemed like part of the Frost Giant kind of. You did see along the edge of the mountain range there was like a citadel of some kind, like a giant crafted stronghold.
yeah, we had to get through like that puzzle wall that was in giant. We had to fight through that. There was a bunch of
Lav, have you ever seen a giant before?
I've been to a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a giant would have been in
One-
Estevatol. Right?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. You likely would have seen either. Here, let's roll a d4 for me, and I'm gonna pick which one's which right now. Okay.
Dude,
Okay.
I saw 2 giants.
You would have seen a pair of giants who they were incredibly large, obviously, as they are giants, but they didn't look like these ones specifically. They looked fiercer, and they looked like they had red hair and black skin. They seem more in the fire giant motif than a ice giant. They were real big dicks.
But I convinced them to like me.
You didn't have too much of a good relation with them, but they didn't kill you, so that's cool.
You know, yeah, I've seen these guys before. Not exactly this local guy. The guy that I saw was much gruffer than this. He was more of like the fire variety of things. We were very close friends, though. They were so nice to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nothing ever bad went wrong with a giant. You really can't go wrong with the people that are that big. They just treat everybody like they're a little fly.
So maybe
Yeah.
if we encounter these guys, you could just work your magic like you did on those guys.
Oh, well, you know what I'm saying? These guys were very different than this guy, but I have seen someone that big before. Not as big-headed as you before. That's the first person I met who had that kind of thing going on.
Thank you. It's nice to be unique.
I mean, we did kill this guy's sons. So I'm pretty sure he hates. Did I kill both of them? Oh god.
You killed the son?
That sounds
Well,
like you.
2 of them. Yeah.
I can't remember. You definitely killed
To
one.
be,
I don't
I
know.
definitely killed one.
Were they his only sons? Did he have any other sons?
We could ask him when we go fight him.
I
don't
mean,
think
I'd
we need to
rather
talk to that
not
guy.
ask him.
I think it'd be like worth bringing up if we encountered him.
But I mean, the big question is, he was working with the Revenant Vow. Whether he knew or not, maybe he just thought he was working with Egoth. But if
Connection.
the Dukath is taking refuge with them, that doesn't bode well. Did you get a location, Valentine, or
I have
is
like
it on
a,
its plane?
Yeah. I have this like ping in my head. I can like feel it if I think about it, and it's north of here. And I kind of, if I can concentrate, I kind of have a sense of where they might be.
In the Feywild.
Essentially, if you take, Scott, if you take like an action to take like a full round, essentially to focus on that beacon, you get a general distance and like as the bird flies kind of distance and direction. Yeah.
Allie, please share what you just put in the chat.
So, I remember now. I killed the other one because I take out my necklace. See, there's his eyeball. There are his teeth. Yeah, so I'm just gonna hide that
Yeah, maybe keep that beneath.
on the down low.
Thought about that, like, really, honestly, kind of creepy part
Yep.
of your.
It was a lot of
Your ritual.
adrenaline. There was a lot of adrenaline flowing.
I was still learning who I was.
Yeah, no judgment. I told you, you gotta worry about these guys. Yeah, like let me have a moment, and I'll take an action to try and gauge how far they are.
Okay. You feel from where you are now, you get a pretty good. Actually, sorry. Make a survival check with advantage
And inspo.
and inspiration if you need it.
If I need it. I'll just use it because the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's gonna fade pretty soon. So
This is the dice that always gave me a 3. What do we got? It's a 4. So I roll identical 13s plus 5 plus 4 is 22, right?
okay. Yeah.
Nice.
So your internal compass gives you a pretty good idea of what's north, what's east, south, west, etc. You gauge as you sit and focus on this energy. You turn so it's in kind of the mind's eye position of where you feel that beacon, and you feel that it is from where you're positioned here, basically beneath this lake in the realm of the Fade. It would be almost straight northeast by 1, 2, 3. Probably about 6 to 7 days travel. On
Okay.
foot. On like a straight shot, you imagine seven days travel to this area, and you can tell. You kind of also pull the map just to get an idea. It is certainly pulling you to the realm of Deep Winter, not only obvious by the ice motif as depicted in the vision. When you even focus, you feel cold. You can sense like the area that he's traveling through as you focus is icy.
Yeah, so I'll relay that to the group.
How the fuck did a bunch of giants get into the Feywild? Is there something I'm missing?
Dahlia actually kind of steps forward and says, if they're in the north, there's a good chance they came through the Fey crossing in the north, in the same way you crossed through in Gallifrey. There is one in the Deep Winter.
Wait, who has that map?
I'll pull it out again.
not the Feywild map. The one that we had that had all the symbols of where
yeah.
the gates were.
Mm.
Does anyone actually have a picture of that?
It would take a while, I think.
I don't know where even I have it.
I'll take some time to look for it. We'll talk about this later.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll turn to Dal and Nova.
Mhm.
So we know where they are. I don't know if Titania gave you other orders, but we just supposed to head up there? Or if they're mobilizing a force of frost giants, doesn't this feel a little bigger than what we were just thinking?
Perhaps we should return to Titania's court and get some more insight as to why he would come back, how he amassed a force so quickly. She may not have answers for that, but perhaps she will know something. In truth, we relied on another of our group for these kinds of why questions. Most recently, we relied on Sylvanas to help us with these. But there was another of our group. I don't know if you've heard of Tarathian. He fell in battle, saving us. You remind us of him.
How long ago did he fall?
It's been some time now, truth be told. And truth be told, time here passes in strange ways. But it has been a long time. But none other has come as he did. None
He was
came
really
along.
handsome.
He was, in fact,
Yeah,
very
that
handsome.
sounds right. Sounds right.
Nova is like, he wasn't that handsome.
Well,
This realm or another?
He fell, you mean?
No, was he from this realm?
Indeed, the realm of Everbloom. Our spring realm. He was like us, blessed of the Fae.
how did he fall? Was it against the Dubkatha?
No. Truthfully, a creature, well, I was about to say far worse, but we've seen what the Dubkatha can do, and he has returned, may do worse. It's a beast known as Cryonax.
I look at Lab.
That's pretty cool.
What was a Cryonax?
It was an elder elemental evil, strangely enough, of winter as well. Troubling the connection between the two. But Tarathian laid down his life to save us and lay this beast to rest in the north. He was a good... She kind of chokes up a bit. Nova steps forward and says, he was good people.
Well, you guys seem like good people, and we can honor him and Sylvanas by seeing this whole thing through. So maybe we should get back to the Summer Queen.
Indeed. Dahlia, can we do this today? She says, I still have some energy left. If you're ready.
I'm gonna be like, yep. But I'm also gonna heal myself as much as I can. So I'm just gonna use level 1 Cure Wounds.
Sure. Make a charisma check.
Oh boy.
If your max HP is
great.
down too.
Yeah, can't you only be at 50 anyways?
I'm down 15.
Yeah, he took some cold
Ooh.
damage the first time, and then also his max HP is down 15.
So
I thought you said his max HP is 50 before, and I was like,
Oh.
that would have sucked. I rolled a 19.
Okay.
And now I'll roll
1d8.
this one.
As you go through casting the spell on yourself, you feel fine.
And then, okay, that's good. I still haven't pressed it over, so we're all good.
The party begins to, Nova and Dal, Nova still with the sword lit, begins to lead back out the way they came. And let's see, Mary, Val, Gord, and Hondo. As you guys begin to exit the cavern, you do hear a little faint skittering of rock from the ground, as if something had just shifted in one of these little alcoves or caverns. And you hear it for a moment, and you pause, but nothing seems to come of it. You don't see anything. Do anything. Nova and Dahlia are ahead. They seem to continue.
Should we be worried about anything watching us?
Probably. He's probably got spies everywhere, and they love the dark.
Fuck.
Let's just be ready in case something jumps out at us here. Let's keep walking.
Nothing does jump out at you. You guys make your way outside of this cavernous space and out into the realm once more of the Fade. It's dusk sky and brilliant autumn coloring. And behind you, the stone shuts. Dahlia kind of quickly looks around and sees, makes her way towards a rather tall tree, and points and says, I believe we can travel back to Titania's court here, if you would. Same way as you got here before.
Yeah, let's do it.
She traces her staff on it again, and the tree opens once more, and she steps through. Nova stops the flame on his sword and sheathes it, and steps through, and you guys follow through it in kind. Once more, you step out of a tree at the top of Senelise. You see Titania stand from her throne, and both the two Eladrin who step before you, they kneel briefly and then stand immediately. As she looks to you, waits for all of you to make your way through the tree, and Titania says, so I trust we have learned something. Did the ritual work?
Yes. Do I still have this bloodstone with me, by the way? Like, great. Thank God. You left it behind. Yes. We have a good read on where he is, and we also saw a vision of him with an Earl of Frost Giants and possibly a gathering force of them.
How he moves so quickly. I suppose we gave him centuries to plot a return, a strike back. I suppose we can't be too surprised.
I also think he has help. Mary, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, the Frost Giant we've seen him before on the material plane. Fought him. Well, not him, his sons. We won. Might pose a problem going forward, but
another connection.
And a connection to the Revenant Vow, whether it's a known one or not.
She kind of mulls it over. Truthfully, I'm unsure. Part of me had been concerned, as you had brought light, that Aurelia had been our culprit and was making moves towards our courts. However, that would be folly. Would she attack and weaken me, she would grow weaker in kind. It would make no sense for her to be behind his release and behind the attacks. We suggest the Revenant Vow, and perhaps it is less my realm and more my realm as a consequence of an attack against your party. But it would be a bit of a stretch to assume you would rush here and get caught up in the mix here. And truth be told, perhaps you may only be here for mere minutes when you return home.
Could be a coincidence, but why was it a surprise that he could move so quickly? We've seen, I just point to the tree. Seems like you guys can get around when you need to.
I mean less in physical travel and more in amassing a giant army, for lack of a better word. That must take time and deliberation. Either we know he is very skilled with his words, but perhaps he has something more. Perhaps, as you suggest, they have already been contacted by outward forces.
Or there's someone else pulling the strings and he's just hitchhiking.
Indeed. There are many answers we have yet to have. Do you have a course to plot forward, then?
Did you ever, forgive me if I have this wrong, but did you, last time we visited you before this morning, even though there's not a morning, did you send or try and reach out to any connections at the Unseal court?
We have sent a messenger. It can take time to return information, and truthfully, here, most matters take more time than we are given, especially like that in your realm. Things happen much quicker in your realm than ours. Sometimes a response can take a century. When our lifetime is millennia, it matters not. I will send another. You are correct in ushering an answer along. Perhaps a second will prove a need of response quickly.
Yeah, I just don't know how to proceed really from here. Obviously, I want him dead, but if he's amassing an army, I don't know if us just going alone to try and do some sort of assassination attempt would go spectacularly well.
I don't know if showing up in a realm where alliances are already rocky with swords pulled and ready to fight would look good. Either we have to go in very stealthily without anyone knowing we're there, or we start telling people we're going, including those who may jump to conclusions when they see some of your people in their realm. My worry there is tipping a hand in case there is an interior connection.
I mean, I feel like time is of the essence too. Like, winter seems to be growing here. Everyone, it seems like, had a spooky dream last night. The more time we wait, I don't know if that's the more power he gets or the less, I don't know, less the summer.
Mary, you watch almost imperceptibly as Valentine mentions the dream. You see Titania react as in guilt for a flash of a second and recover. But you catch it.
I love how perceptive she is. Non-perceptive I am.
Yeah, you're just...
I'm just looking around.
Yeah, not really sure. Do you think we should send this message to the Unseal court? I don't know how this works.
Perhaps that is more prudent. We send, if you are concerned of looking the villain in intruding in their court, you will be able to pass with the blessing of my court within theirs unscathed, provided they are not working against us. The fear that they are, however, means we could be sending you into a prison. However, if you deem this path most prudent, I see there's no reason as to stop you. I'm as lost as any of you as how to proceed. We know the Crow has gathered forces in some kind, and he has returned here for some purpose, presumably to bring this winter, to bring this unending winter. by my understanding of the Ring of Winter itself, it is capable of such a thing, but not at will. It's a sentient thing, the ring. It has purpose of its own. It does not just imbue its wearer with the ability to cast spells and create items of ice. It has a purpose of destruction. It has a similar purpose as the crow, of spreading destruction in winter and leaving death in its path. Perhaps it comes here with purpose to spread winter perpetually, but that must be done in ritual or in a specific area. I know not where or how.
I wonder if, are there more allies we can summon here? Like, perhaps that's why it's worth going to the Unseelie Court. If balance is prudent for both sides of this court to remain in power, maybe we could lean on them.
Absolutely. If Aurelia is truly not behind any of this, perhaps heading to her court and seeking her champion and aid. I see no reason why they would resist, should they not be behind it all. However, I fear they may not even react one way or the other. Aurelia may grow weaker, but her realm will grow stronger in a perpetual winter.
Big if.
I don't really want to walk into another huge trap.
But if we go in, that means we're going to have to be quiet and not brash. Now look at Valentine. We won't be able to go in shouting our names and drawing attention to ourselves, as is typical.
I can't help that my name gets around here.
Yes, but you can help when you don't shout out branding suggestions to everyone you meet.
It's grandiose suggestions. Maybe it's just worth a scouting mission with Nova and Dal. The big thing I think is we have no way of quickly getting in and out of an area. But if we were to go with them and they could help us, we could maybe try and do a little scout, see if we can get more information. But just being able to quickly get out of a bad situation, I think, is key.
We fully intend to travel alongside of you, Valentine, and your friends. We have every intention of fulfilling the lady's needs. But it is her decision. I apologize if she says otherwise. We will abide by her wishes. And you see Titania kind of wave a hand and say, I think perhaps it more prudent that I send at least one of you alongside the Wildcards and Valentine. Perhaps a scouting mission is most prudent. It is most intelligent to gain more information. And in that endeavor, I believe I have a task of Nova I would ask. Immediately he stands at attention. And she says, it may be a perilous journey, but we may learn something of great value to send you to the plane of pandemonium, to the prison. If you may find sign of what set free this beast, we may find this ally we seek. Would you be up for this task? He puts his shoulders back, straight back, and says, it would be my honor, my queen. She looks to you, Lot, and says, I assume this trip would not be to your tastes.
I just feel like perhaps our skills are better suited here.
Absolutely.
And then I just look at Mary and raise my eyes like, but try and keep very cool.
Dodged bullet on that one. Is that what that look was?
That was definitely that look.
She looks to the group then and says, in that case, Dahlia, you will accompany the Wildcards, and Valentine, you intend then to travel north? Do you intend to besiege Aurelia and her court, or just try and see where the Crow and these new allies are headed? Or perhaps, would you wish to wait for the information to return from Pandemonium?
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I almost feel like we could go to the Unseal court, see what's going on there. I have a good read in my head of where he is, so if he's moving very quickly, I could always relay that back. I'm not big on waiting, get very antsy, but we could always try and wait. I don't know how good Nova is. He looks pretty cool, so what do you guys think? Perfect. Well,
yeah, I mean, we don't know how much time we have. Things move slowly and yet they don't here, right? So
let's go to the Unseal court.
is there, I point to the tree behind us, does this tree only go to the one other one, or are we
You can
making
go to
this...
any tree within the Feywild. I have seen and remember them all.
Is it smart to go straight there?
I mean, smart's so subjective.
Truthfully, I know not. I am at a loss for who is to be trusted and what action to take next. I somehow feel powerful and powerless at the same time.
Here's a question. Shit, I can't remember her name.
Dal?
Dahlia. Can you do the same thing with this trees? How often?
I can only do it once more today.
If we go through, try to start a dialogue, how long did that take the first time? Is it just like an action for her to cast it?
Yep.
From what I remember. Okay. We have an out.
Well,
We
need a tree.
Right, we're going to come out of a tree.
Presumably
I'm talking
the
not immediately.
Yes.
No. But if we need to rabbit, we hold that in our back pocket. Just want to make sure we have a plan B, that's all. Even if we go into the court and find another tree there, we can return to that same one. So at least we're not all the way back where we started. Just want to have an exit plan, that's all.
This I can do. I've been to Deep Winter. I've been to this court once, but I recall this area. I recall the garden within. Its tree is not quite as nice as these, but it's there nonetheless.
So if we show up in an ideal world, we're representatives of the Sealy Court. We come bearing peace and no ill will. Hopefully they're like, cool, you could maybe have an audience with the Queen of Air and Darkness. Then we chit-chat with her. She's an archfey goddess, highly skilled probably at deception. We try and feel her out for if she's allied with the Dubkatha. Then we leave unscathed, go back here, talk to our person, and are like, great.
Or we go straight to where your little ping in your head tells us.
How about a happy medium? We go to Neverwinter, not necessarily, maybe close to the Unseal court, and we just try and do some reconnaissance, see if we can see anyone carrying a flag of the Queen of Air and Darkness and then shakes hands with the Dubkatha, and then we're like, that's suspicious.
At the very least, when you arrive, you'll have a beacon to where he is.
Yeah.
You'll know whether he is within her court or passed on, or you'll be closer, presumably.
So that's a great idea. Why don't we do something safer, less brash? You guys like that plan?
Play it by ear from there. That tends to be how we work.
Do you have, this is a beautiful tropical place here. You have any, and I did once get a dope dire polar bear cloak, but in a past adventure, do we have any furs or warm gear we can bring up there?
Sadly, we have none here, as you say it is a summer paradise here. Not so much need, and when those of my court travel, typically they also have no need.
Right. Okay, well, it's gonna get a little chilly, folks.
Indeed. It
So the
shouldn't
only
be too bad.
So we're potentially, if we're going to be doing reconnaissance and moving slower, we're going to be taking more time. Is there any concern about, we know hags, with our experience and Valentine's experience this recently, we know hags can play with dreams, fuck you up through them. The dreams we had last night, and I'm keeping a careful eye on her. Is this something we should continue to worry about?
She says, I wouldn't worry about dreams. I should hope this shouldn't be taking long enough for you to go to sleep in her realm.
That was dodgy, as I expected.
Cool. Well, why don't we just head there, you know? Let's have fun with it.
That always works out well.
We have almost a plan. Let's go there and abandon it immediately. That's what we do.
So, DM now.
Yes.
What is the plan?
All right, so this is the loose plan. We take a tree hop to a tree somewhere close to the Unseelie court, but not the one directly in the courtyard.
Not in the court, in the realm of Deep Winter.
This is correct. Then we try as a group to stealthily do some reconnaissance and see what we see. Inevitably get captured, tortured, try and work out some sort of deal, sacrifice Hondo, and then come back to Titania.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Does anyone have any other ideas? Hondo, sometimes you have
Yeah, Hondo, I need
strangely
that
good
ace in the
ideas.
hole. What do you got for me, buddy?
I'm okay with reconnaissance, but if I sense an opportunity to attack, I will.
Okay. It seems like not the ace in the hole I was hoping for.
Let's at least hope if we're going to attack someone that they're not just a rando from the Winter Court, because we don't want to be the ones responsible for starting war.
Could even blow up the Winter Court if you want.
Ooh.
Well,
Don't do that. Remember, balance. It's important here.
didn't you just give a whole good speech about balance last game? Was that you?
Hondo or me?
I can't remember.
Oh, me.
Doesn't sound
I thought it was like one of those surprising things from Hondo that we're like, oh, that actually makes sense.
Titania says, if your intent is to head to the realm of Deep Winter and to the edge of Sildur, the tower of Aurelia and the throne of the Queen of Air and Darkness, I will caution you. Those of her realm are very often evil, unseelie fey creatures. There are a few communities of Eladrin elves like you see within my realms. Most are of hags and madkips and quicklings, mites and meanlocks. There are 2 realms of Winter Eladrin, though they are most faithful to Aurelia. And most notably, you must avoid she looks at Hondo, any undue interactions with the Dark Hunt.
What's the Dark Hunt?
They are like my lords and ladies of light, however, of darkness and shadow. The champion and hand of the queen is an Eladrin named Galen Revere. He is a powerful Fey and wields a powerful blade at his side. It would suit you well not to cross him. But
Well, is it possible to put us in one of these areas that it's a little more friendly? Or at least close?
I can put you out of harm's way as best I can. Likely at the edge of the realm, close to the throne, but not immediately within the court. From there, it will be entirely on your hands, and you will have Dahlia, should things go bad. But I just want to give you due warning.
Alia, have you been there before?
I have been once. We went and parleyed with the Queen, and I have met those of the Dark Hunt and Galen himself. He is as frigid as the realm. But he can be reasoned with, as any of us can be. He is loyal to a fault to his queen, as we are to ours. However, they are not fools. They are as cunning as we may be here. I feel we may not be able to dupe them into anything.
I don't think we do any duping. I think we just go straight honest.
However,
I mean, this is
they
potentially
may
going to
be
hurt
able
everyone.
Dupe us.
Yeah.
You can't dupe someone who's honest.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that meant either.
I'm relatively good at keeping an eye out for honesty. I can't fucking lie, so I guess that kind of works.
Nova steps forward and says, well, at the very least, you all have a journey ahead of you, and I have mine. My lady, if you will permit me passage to Pandemonium, I will see your work done. She puts a hand to his shoulder with a smile. Says, be safe, Nova. And you see this kind of energy kind of encapsulate him, and in the space he stood, it just kind of spins and whirls, and you hear a horrid screeching wail of wind and sand that just blasts and dissipates in the space he was standing once before. I leave it to you.
Yeah, Wildcards, let's go do it. Go to the border in Neverwinter, talk to the super shady people, and then come home for dinner.
When Nova returns, I will bring you home or send you a message that he has returned. We may meet yet again.
If he doesn't come back or he dies, can I have his sword?
No. His sword, like many of the moon blades of my lords and ladies of light, will pass to an heir, and should he not have an heir, a new champion will be chosen.
Well, to be honest, he doesn't look like he would have an heir, so I'll be the champion.
She kind of just like looks up for a moment and smiles. Says,
He grows on you.
we'll see.
Dal, you ready to go?
I believe the lady will send us, but I'm prepared.
Anything you want to tell us before we go, milady?
I only give the warnings I have given. I say to keep yourself safe, keep your heads down, trust none that you see.
Great. Okay.
Okay. She steps forward and traces the hand along the tree as she has done before. You see before the tree just opens up, and this blast of winter weather pushes through this pervasive cold. You see a thin forest of thin trees, of thin pines, stretch out before you across a land of white snow and ice. Dahlia looks to you, Valentine.
I'm going to take a moment and see if I can see where he is from here.
Do you still have the same positional beacon from where you're standing?
Doesn't feel any closer.
From right where you're still standing? No.
Oh, sorry. I thought we had gone through.
Nope.
Okay, great. I walk through. I thought we had gone through and then she looked at me.
No, she was looking for you to lead.
Yeah, then I totally just lead. Walk straight in.
You step forward and immediately are blasted by cold. The rest of you feel this same sudden wind just sweep up and beneath your armor pieces and tunics. Hondo, you're pretty comfortable.
What a dick.
Your vulnerabilities have faded, and immediately you look back in this massive pine that you stand on the edge of, and it's already closed behind you. And you look across and you just see thin, very thin, kind of wavy, kind of pine trees that don't look very healthy, but they seem to be dotted as far as you can see. And amidst them, this kind of all-pervasive wind and blizzard-like condition kind of surrounds you, and it gives you a sudden fear and call back to the blizzards within the Vale and of the Burr hags bearing down upon you. But you hear no cackle of laughter, just a screaming of wind. Valentine, immediately as you set foot, the position of like this beacon in your mind immediately shifted, and from where you stand, almost directly east, you look out through the forest and you can just barely see through these very thin pines. You see the edge of frozen water, and then kind of nothing off into the distance as of right now. It's difficult to see as from this position, but somewhere in this still kind of northeastern position from where you're standing, you feel a beacon and it feels close. Not directly around the corner, but only a few hours of travel. No longer days.
I'll just lean to Alana and just say, maybe you should stick by Val while we're here.
Yeah.
So nothing can jump out and surprise him without backup.
Yeah.
I'll
good idea.
turn to Lav and be like, you should probably stick by Brawley so nothing can, jump out and grab you.
If you thought that I wasn't going to stick by Broly, you are sadly mistaken.
Just looking out for you.
Okay. As you guys enter the realm of deep winter, let's take a quick break.
Oh shit.
Let's see where this goes next. Very quick. I just need a drink and use a bathroom. And we'll get back. As we pick up back in the realm of deep winter, Val, this beacon in your mind is pulling you much closer now, and it feels more like you can feel it stronger. You can feel the sense immediately. It's almost difficult to put out of your mind. Its presence is there. And you can feel he is moving ever so slightly. Now that you feel you're within a closer range, you feel there is a constant kind of faint movement in his movement.
Does he feel like he's getting closer at all, or is it hard to gauge?
Make a let's go survival check again on that.
Okay.
With advantage because you have this beacon, but it still is a little thing.
Ooh, 19 on the die, so that's 24.
Perfect. You can tell it is moving a little closer. It's not going further north. It's it was up a little further north along in your mind, and you can feel it kind of moving not closer this way to you, but closer like this way. as if it's going south, and more in line with you instead of this northeast. It's headed almost directly to an eastern direction with you.
I'll tell it to the group, and then I'll turn to Dal and be like, do you have any idea where the Sealy Court is from here? Which direction? Unsealy Court?
Yeah. She
Man.
is going to make a survival check. And yeah, if you provide the map with her, that would help. You give her the map. Ooh, that's much better. She kind of points and takes a look and actually kind of steps a little to the east. And you guys watch as she kind of pushes a little further, very slowly, quietly, kind of keeping low, makes her way. But she is like a bright red beacon amidst white, so it's not incredibly stealthy. But she makes her way a little further east away from you guys, about 100 feet or so. And as you kind of slowly look forward, you can see it kind of drops down along this little embankment to a river. And it is flowing, this river. It is partially iced over in certain pieces, and you can see little chunks of ice kind of flowing through it, but the water is still flowing nonetheless. And looking across this maybe a couple 100 feet of this river, you see, in stark contrast to the realm you are within, green hills on the opposite side. And she brings the map to you and kind of shows if you look on the map, there is a kind of bend in the river, almost directly in the middle, directly above Senelise, between the realm of Deep Winter and the realm of Everbloom. In between this river, where 2 points almost meet, there is this spot, and she kind of says, I think we're within this region here of this map. That's peculiar. And she looks to you and says, he's moving south. He's moving like directly across here. And you feel, as you're kind of standing on the bank, it almost very quickly is moving almost to line with, like, directly across into this spring realm, this Everbloom realm. She says, that's troubling.
What's in there? I mean, aside from more of the Feywild, is there anything of relevance?
There are several things. There are cities and there are peoples, many, a robust life, but you say he's close-ish? Like almost just across this riverbank and a little ways.
Yes.
It feels about what you're saying, where you described earlier. She says, that is where... It's too odd. That is where we laid Tarathian to rest.
Did Tarathian have any relics on him that you buried him with?
Tarathian wielded a blade like Atraxia, like the blade that Nova wields. It was called Aetherius, the Lightbringer.
That's the blade that Titania mentioned maybe bestowing to me.
This is... Truth be told, when Nova and I had first heard of you and met you, we had assumed you were being sort of groomed for one of these positions, and Aetherius was free. And do you wield a blade?
Not anymore. The Dubkatha destroyed mine.
Well, if you know where this place is, they might not have a specific destination. You need to beat them there.
Why would they have any need to find his grave or to find this blade?
He seems to like to collect items, artifacts. I don't know. Maybe they just think that's where we're going. I'll show the map. Can you point to where it is? You said it was roughly in the area you think he's traveling.
She points on the eastern, technically the western side of Everbloom. Directly across the river, there's a small patch of kind of pinkish trees right along the western banks of this river. And she says, within this grove of willows, we laid Tarathian to rest. We marked the tree. We would be able... I remember it quite well. I could take us immediately.
I think we should go immediately. Anything we can do to ruin his day is good with me. Feels too much of a coincidence that he's heading there.
I mean, at the very least, once you get there, you can get a better read on whether he's making a beeline for where we are. It kind of fucks up our whole let's do some reconnaissance plan.
I know, this is my concern. We won't be able to come back. We could cross the river physically. It will take hours, though.
Fuck. How fast from what we remember, when we were dealing with the giants, do they move faster than average? Okay.
They're not they're not pushing double your speed or anything.
No, but I mean, their legs are ginormous, so. They
have quite a stride and move pretty good. And especially, knowing that they're frost giants, they're in a realm of spring right now, but they are not impeded by any of winter travel. They would be very accustomed to traveling rather quickly across these kinds of this kind of terrain. Ice and snow will not impede them in any way. But in just regular travel, they're a little faster than most of you.
All right.
So what if... Sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, what are our options?
We bamf there. We get this blade. We get in that river, and we just start moving down.
Option 2. We have one use of this tree door thing. We either go straight there, because you know where it is. We turn our ass around, immediately go back to the Summer Queen and hope she can send us. Say, hey, here's what we should have established some form of communication. Does anyone know, is there a way to contact her without a spell that at least no one on our team has access to? I'll ask.
I usually just pray.
I typically do the same, but it can take some time for a response, or it's not an exact art.
Valentine, your connections aren't exactly particularly strong right now.
No.
Our question is, are we asking for permission, or are we doing it ourselves?
We're doing it.
You wish to travel?
We'll be losing our escape plan.
Yep.
So if things go to shit again, we're just fucked.
But
we did talk about this.
The other option is we have no idea what we're doing here. We're going to try and find some really shady character and try and convince them to give us an audience with the Queen of Air and Darkness. And then we're going to try and feel her out and try and persuade her that maybe she could join forces to maintain balance, even though she is going to get stronger through winter. I just feel like that plan, not a great, it's not a great plan even to begin with. This plan, we know, we have this great idea that he is moving towards that. And if he wants it, I definitely don't want him to have it. I feel like it's a more tangible thing that we could do. And I mean, I'll be honest, the idea of having something that helps me, I'm pretty weak right now.
I agree. Let's look at our options in terms of getting there quickly, outside of using our only escape plan. Do any of us have means of transportation or means of making ourselves quick? I can move pretty quick if I need to for an hour. Valentine, if you can get Fern back, if you want to try again.
We can also polymorph, Lav and I. Lav can fly. We could also polymorph and try and polymorph into something quick, carry the others.
Lavender, you've been able to get people to fly before. Is that faster than walking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd have to hit 7 of us, which is a lot. I can carry 1 with me, but again, it's only for an hour. How far? So sorry, Kyle. You said like he was hours travel from us.
It felt like in the 2, 3, maybe 4 hour range. It's not an exact science, but you do feel the movement seemed to cease.
Oh, they stopped moving.
What if we tree stride there and then do this idea to get out as an escape?
If enough of us are conscious.
Pardon me?
If enough of us are conscious, that'll work. If not enough of us are conscious, only half of us are going to get out. Just talking through our options. I'm not making any decisions. How long of a travel do we think it would take to get to this area, this grove where he's buried?
Just on foot, you mean?
If we were just to walk there.
Well, it depends on how we traverse the river. But once we're on the opposite bank, it's within an hour, roughly.
We carpet across?
That is an option. You definitely cross the river. I know the carpet's not necessarily like fast, like a fly spell.
But it would get us across the river.
I mean, carpet's 40, fly is 60. But like, you're looking to cross a couple hundred feet of fast-moving, kind of rapid-like river, and then on the opposite bank, Dahlia says, roughly an hour, maybe a little more. It would put you in the 2 to 3 hour range to retrieve. Pardon me, to reach this area of willows she spoke of.
I mean, we don't even know for sure that's where they're going. If we just put ourselves in the path of wherever they are and wherever this place is, you can tell when they start moving, they're moving directly towards us. If they're not, we've wasted an hour, but at least we're not giving them an hour's heads up, in the direction of this other realm. Maybe has nothing to do with this. Maybe they're just going to attack, and I point to the area, like this city here. Maybe they're just trying to find another area to infect in the Feywild. I don't know. Could be something else entirely.
So are you in favor of we don't use the spell yet, just in case we really need it? We just head there?
I would say while they're not moving, let's at least keep moving. We can get across this river. We're right on the riverbank, right?
You're a little off, a couple, maybe 30 feet off the actual banks, where it's all kind of ice and rock. But you're still up in like these thin pines.
What's everyone's votes?
So Carpet takes 4, Fern and I, if I can even get Fern back, can take another. That's 6. So we're still down 1. Fly only lasts 10 minutes. Polymorph lasts an hour. Get polymorph into a giant eagle. And then take another person maybe in the talons.
Dahlia also says, I can also polymorph, should that be required.
Does that use the same
If I use a polymorph, I will not be able to transport us via the tree.
Okay.
So you save that, just in case.
Just putting it out there.
Yeah.
It's up. We can just try to go and find them directly, if that's what we'd rather do.
I think we should tree stride there, get it, and then run. I know that's like, yeah, no, you're right. Why don't we just try, and I'll try and get Fern. We can go on the carpet, and I can polymorph one of us into a giant eagle or something, or even like a fish, like a super fast fish that can go across the water. I guess then that's really annoying for getting out.
I would say keeping us all together might be a little bit.
Yeah, that's really a good idea.
Just trying to put ourselves between where we think this target may be and where they are. We'll carry on from there. That's my vote, but I mean, this is A, your thing, and B, there's a whole other team here. What does everyone else think?
Hondo, I need your ace in the whole plan. Let's go. What do you think?
Well, I cannot move very fast, but I could go invisible.
Hey, it's good. It's good to know.
Dahlia actually says that does bring up a good point, though. When we make our approach, are we intending to do so bullheaded and attack? I am fine with this. I want him dead, and if he is going to disturb the grave of a great man, he deserves it. But are we intending instead to travel stealthily once we're there?
Yeah, if he has an army of frost giants with him, I don't think we should take this fight, just the 7 of us. So I feel like we get close, then we start stealthing. If we can get into this resting place, we take what we can, try and see if that stops him from whatever nefarious things he wanted with it, and then we all tree stride out of there.
I have another idea.
Okay.
That I wish I thought of. Oh, no, it won't work.
Let's hear it anyways.
No, it might work on the frost giant. Actually, you've met him. We have a crystal ball.
Scry on the Earl?
Jarl.
The Jarl?
Jarl?
You have a knack for just messing up the first letter.
Yeah.
Lots
my thing.
of NPCs.
Duke Frost Giant.
It was confirmed we can't scry on the Dukatha.
Yep.
It takes an hour, though, because you're not attuned to it.
No, I am. I only have 3 things to attune to.
Yeah.
What is this chord that you just said? Alright, if you want to share that with the class, you can save it.
That is,
it might have...
Brock, that is the fastest way to travel, but needs land, so you wouldn't be able to do it over the water.
But an escape
But
plan.
once you get on the other side and you have an hour of travel, that shit's fast. That's faster than anything you guys have.
Will it only take him, or will it take other people?
That I'm not sure.
Oh my god, just like hook a card up to it and just be like, let's go. Oh my god, this is a long thing. You just paid.
Jesus. Cast time 1 minute, duration 1 hour. Yeah, that's pretty good.
We're talking about Phantom Seed here, folks.
Okay, I'm gonna cast.
You're a creature you can choose can ride the steed.
I'm gonna cast. What's it called?
I'd say 2 people could ride it. I'm okay with that. It says you
I'm
are a
gonna
creature. Sorry.
Get Find Greater Steed going, but I will look at Lav and be like, remember when I was there for you and I like gave you nice words of wisdom?
Would you like to be inspired?
I would love that. It'd be great. What do you-
Okay, I know we don't usually get along and all that stuff
What are
and
you talking
whatever,
about?
but I mean, it seems as though you are on some sort of mystical journey that could save the whole world. So here you go. You are inspired. You're doing a good job. You're a good person.
We are on a mystical journey. We are on a mystical journey. Great. I'm gonna try and
Great. I feel inspired.
summon Fernie Boy.
How long does it take to cast, by the way?
10 minutes.
Okay. You begin the ritual once more. Roll a charisma check. With a d6
Ooh, that's pretty
inspiration.
good. That's pretty good. Okay,
So dice plus 5.
18.
That is enough.
Boy.
With Lavender's words of inspiration in the back of your mind,
You're a good
and
guy.
with the emboldened path ahead and the hope and desire that there may be this, you'll never replace Heartbreaker, but perhaps something that will at least take its place for now and give you strength is at hand. You need something else that gives you strength, and you call out for Fern, and as the ritual incantation and the spell finishes, you don't see Fern before you. However, you watch as Fern flies from a nearby, like over the treetops, and descends from the across the river. Actually, you see him kind of materialize and descend and nuzzle into you, almost just like dive bomb into you and tackle you and lick your face in his what feels more real than he has before.
So warm.
It feels like he has saliva. He licks your face and you feel slobber on your face, and his fur and feathers simultaneously have more like material to them, and it's just a different Fern.
Fernie boy.
The Fern's there. In that 10-minute cast, is there anything anyone else wanted to do?
Kids, anything else?
Can I just look around to see if anyone's potentially watching us?
Absolutely. Make a perception check.
18.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, you definitely do. Yeah, over the time you've been standing on this embankment and preparing and talking, none of you have really been paying super close attention to your surroundings. You're always kind of keeping an eye, like Hondo and Hondo and Gord's passive perceptions are very high. You guys are always ready for something to come up and fucking stab you. Nothing so obvious happens. But Mary, as you actively turn your eye to look at your surroundings, you see nothing within the trees. You scan the trees. You scan the opposite embankment. You see nothing across there. But as you look down to the water itself, on your side of the embankment, about 50, 60 feet off in the water, you see a form of scraggly wet hair and kind of pale skin dip below the water behind this rock.
I yell out, show yourself.
What's that? You gotta wait for Mary to tell you. Mary, do you share that with the class?
I was just going to say, keep an eye on the waters. We may have company, and it may not be anything in our immediate realm of villains, but it doesn't mean it's good.
Okay, we gotta go. We got Fern. We gotta fly, baby. We gotta move. 4 people can go on this carpet. Who wants to be turned into a giant bird? Anyone volunteer?
Dahlia looks around and is like,
boom, that's you. I'm gonna try and polymorph her into a giant bird.
Make a charisma check.
Giant eagle, to be specific.
Yep.
Who likes me tonight? It's this dice. 21.
Yep.
It's this dice.
Again, feeling emboldened by Fern back with you, and you have renewed purpose. Your magic seems to swim back to you very easily, and polymorph takes Dahlia's form, and she turns into a giant eagle. She settles down, kind of leaving her wings down for anyone to try and climb on her back. Pardon me.
All right, let's do this. Who wants to pilot the carpet? Who's not named Hondo?
To be fair, Hondo has the most experience.
Lav, how do you feel about Hondo flying this carpet?
Hondo, are you going to kill me again?
Look, I do what I need to do. I can't guarantee anything.
This was his one chance to say no.
I know, yeah. But he's too
Why didn't he just say no?
Because he's too honest. It's dangerous.
Keep your eyes open. That's all I can say. Stop drifting off into La La Land.
Keep my eyes open. Keep your eyes open. You're the one flying the damn thing.
Lavender, maybe you go with Val or go ride a giant bird.
Do you want to ride the giant bird?
Yeah, I'll ride the giant bird because this fucking guy.
Dahlia lowers her wing towards you to allow you to climb aboard. Okay, so who's riding with Val?
Mary, Brawley, Gord. Which ones do you want to do?
I can go wherever.
Yeah, Elena, why don't you stick with Val?
Okay.
Might not hurt to have a heavy hand if needed there.
Okay.
Gord, maybe you and I should keep an eye on the waters while we travel with Hondo.
Idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
As you guys
And the shorelines.
As you guys take to the skies aboard Fern, a giant eagle, and the carpet, you begin to keep relatively low, not taking off very high, and just making your way directly across this river. Gord and Mary make perception checks.
Oh, I really hope you roll better than me.
23.
Oh, good. I rolled a 10. So.
Okay. As your party begins to fly across the river, now having to engage in its kind of frigid-looking waters, he you look down across the embankment where you left, and as you look back almost immediately, you do see sign of this scraggle hair, this wet matted hair of this creature around the water. And as you guys take to the sky, you watch as they look up and watch and then dip beneath the surface, and you can see a faint shadow of them swimming in stride beneath the water across towards in your direction. Gord, you see where this one swims, you see another two kind of peek out from around beneath the water from underneath like this icy kind of chunk of ice. You see two other shadows kind of trail this first one, and they begin to kind of follow you from within the water as you guys make your way across, though they don't seem to do anything beyond, and Gord currently is the only one who notices this. But within a short amount of time, you guys make your way across unimpeded, though relatively cold, as you're traveling at a quick speed and with the wind in this frigid area. But as you cross like an odd threshold, that freezing cold begins to give way to cool, and then gives way even further to quite pleasant, actually. And as you close in on the opposite embankment, these like faint cherry blossoms begin to kind of flow past you as you're flying, and a sweet smell of blooming flowers reaches your nostrils rather than this pervasive cold. And you see that all along this embankment, these green hills begin to roll up and away, and already things seem to have improved. And it's only been it's quite a ways to cross, even flying here. But you land within the range of the polymorph spell, and none of you else had any other spells. But the polymorph spell is going to fade in a short time, maybe 15 more minutes, 20 minutes.
I'll just follow her lead, but as it gets closer, maybe I'll try and flag her down and point to the ground. Okay.
She does pause at this side just to like look towards you, and then kind of with a understanding kind of nod, begins to kind of fly along the embankment, and then begins to turn in after about 5 minutes, turn into up and over some treetops within the realm of Everbloom. Gord, you notice as you look back, as you guys clear the embankment, these three figures of wet matted hair to the head pop up out of the water, and just watch as you take off into the skies before dipping back below. You're not sure who or what they were, but they were at least watching. Nonetheless.
Before I give a let's head down, can I spend an action trying to locate Uncle?
Mm-hmm. To do this, you suddenly feel like you tell Fern to keep traveling, but he slows his pace as you are not focusing. And you kind of pull the stone out to hold within your hand, between your two hands. And it's a little large, like not quite palm-sized. It has to hold held between two. But nonetheless, you close your eyes and focus, and you feel yourself growing far closer. The pinging beacon is moving not quite as quickly as you away, but it is moving back north at this point. But you are now almost directly in line, headed north with this ping, and they are maybe an hour north of you. And you know that this place was within an hour of here, so either they're within there or just beyond.
The place we're headed is like an hour away? Oh, shit.
It was a rough idea, as Dahlia suggested. But he seems to be moving in the same direction now with you. And you come back to your senses, and you still have some ways before you. But the polymorph will fade in about 5 minutes.
So I'll try and get in front of her and then just like point to the ground.
Easy enough. Fern is very fast. And you pull up And she just nods in her form. And Lavender, you feel yourself begin to lower. And you all begin to settle down into like a grove of wide open kind of cherry blossom trees. And she settles down on the ground in a faint clearing, kind of inland a fair ways. But you can see like these green hills on all sides, and just off to your west you can see the river as you're a little higher now. The spell is about to fade and you let it drop regardless. And she returns to her form as Lavender disembarks.
Piggybacks her. Yeah!
Dahlia looks around and begins kind of putting a hand to different trees and looking around the ground and says, it's been some time since I've been here, but I have a pretty good idea of where we're headed, and I'll know when we're close. I'll recognize that. If you'll permit me to lead.
Please. He is about an hour north of us. Just to keep in mind. I'll keep trying to ping as we move closer, but just want everyone aware.
She kind of looks around and says, that puts him a little north of where I thought we were headed. Is he traveling towards or away?
I thought he was traveling away. Do I have that right?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought he was traveling away.
Well, let's hope we're not too late. You guys begin to travel up by foot with Dahlia's lead. The hour passes, and it's just under the hour when she puts a hand out, and without even needing the hand, Valentine, Hondo, Gord, and Mary, you all hear a heavy sound in the distance. Not far off, but heavy. And then a bellow of giantish nature. You've gotten pretty close to some giant figures off in the distance who are not incredibly stealthy. Dahlia kind of rushes back to you guys and just says, well, we have found them, certainly. Valentine, you don't feel like he's right here, though.
Yeah, he's not with these guys, but maybe he left them.
He's basically almost keeping pace. He's a little bit further than an hour north of you.
Yeah, he's like an hour north. Lav, these are your people. Did you want to speak to these giants?
Oh, no, I told you before, I don't know these guys.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Hondo, this might be...
Wait. I gotta tell you something.
What is it?
Those giants I met before,
Yeah.
they were not very nice. I was just saying that they were nice just because...
Did you lie to us?
I did not lie, but I curd the truth a little bit.
Okay.
A little more of an embellishment.
They're not going to be nice to you. Imagine if you were like a tiny little mouse, you probably just hear your big dumb voice. You'd be like this. And so when they hear your voice, all they're hearing is this like, yeah, my name is Valentine and I'm super big. And that's just going to be so annoying to them.
Yeah. So if you've lied about this, is there anything else you want to admit to lying to?
No, this is the one and sole time I have ever lied to this group.
Well, that's reassuring then. I believe you.
Make a deception check.
I was going to say, I do not.
Roll a d20.
Can I look at Mary and just wink?
Yeah.
Knowing that she will know.
Make a deception check anyways.
Okay, 18.
Okay, yeah. Mary, you obviously knew she was lying, but she also winked at you. But everyone else is like, wow, that's kind of surprising. That's the first lie, really?
Try to trust her.
Do we want to get an idea of what these guys are up to? If they're just, are they a guard? Are they trying to do something?
Maybe a really stealthy person who's not prone to outbursts.
You hear another crashing tree in the distance.
Does it sound like he's moving closer or just like a general sound?
It's kind of just like a really loud snapping of a giant tree. It's kind of all around.
All right, well, let's at least get it to cover. We're pretty exposed here.
Yeah, why don't we try and hide? But like Hondo, do you want to just try and like purely reconnaissance stealth forward and give us a little update on the earring?
Can do that.
Okay.
Let's hide though. Let's try and find a place we can hide.
Let's get everyone to make stealth checks.
Ooh! Hondo, before you do your reconnaissance, I will inspire you.
I will use that.
I don't know if you need it right now.
Not
but
great for this kid.
You got 10 minutes to use it if he needs to.
Actually, maybe I'm okay. No, I don't need to use it yet. 23.
Should shout him out.
20.
18. Wait, sorry. No. 12. I don't know where 18 came from.
I got an 18.
I don't know where 12 came from.
Sorry, Brock, say again.
I also got 23.
Oh, wow.
Nice job. Brawley.
17.
Wow.
Wow.
I rolled balls. I rolled a 12.
Game.
Okay, but so all of you begin to kind of fan out and quietly get low as Hondo is going to take point and progress further than everyone else. So that's the plan. You're gonna get close.
In a purely reconnaissance fashion.
And what was your 23 for stealth?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Hondo, you begin to push. Closer to the source of these loud crashing sounds, and you sneak tree to tree, and they're wide tree bases, trunks. You are very easy to kind of blend into them, though your coloration sticks out a little bit. You're sticking to the shadows beneath these boughs, and using the actual trees and rushing very quickly between two large trees to give yourself your edge. And you get a few minutes of travel closer with everyone else a little ways back. And you can see large grooves in the ground have been torn up. You can see upturned earth and several trees uprooted and torn from the ground. Leaves and limb lay scattered along the otherwise lush grass. And ahead you can see two of these blue-skinned frost giants as they pull up just together, and pull up an entire tree in both of their hands together. Two of them just and they look down into the crater and shatter the tree on the ground and just pummel it with axes. You see another push through and just push over a tree and start looking into the crater beneath the tree and just speaking to one another angrily. Finally, you see one more just pull himself up over the edge of a hill and climb up and say something in Giantish that you're not sure. And you just see several craters of where trees once were and the shattered remains left behind. They're about 80 feet from you.
And 3 of them?
4 now.
4.
Hondo, did you see the chat with
I'll
a secret hint?
Pearl. I'll be like, I see 4 of them. They're blue. They're tearing up all these trees, and they look pretty stupid.
I'll turn to Dal and be like, relay that message. Do you think maybe they know it's around here, but they're looking for it?
Perhaps he would have been... he was buried beneath a willow tree.
What kind of trees are they, Hondo?
Oof.
It's going to be a fun nature check
Make
for
a
Hondo
nature
here.
check, Hondo.
Willow trees are very obviously willow trees.
It's Hondo.
It's a seafaring boy.
Okay.
Pretty good.
They do look like willow trees, Kev.
Okay. So I said, they're willow trees.
Well, Dal, you said you marked the tree, right?
Yes, we wrote a passage, lyrics of a song he used to sing. Truth be told, I think it is ahead where they are. I can't tell if they've found it just yet. It's difficult to see.
Hondo, sorry to interrupt. Hondo, you said there's only 4? You only have eyes on 4?
Mhm.
I don't think we want to pick a fight with 4 fucking frost giants. I think we got to try and do this stealthily.
Is one of them the Jarl?
Hondo, make a investigation or perception. Perception, just perception, sorry.
That's pretty good. You add a lot, don't you? 14 on the dice.
Perception is 12, so 26.
None of them look like heavily armored or anything like you saw in the Bloodstone kind of scry ritual. Two of them look somewhat younger. They look smaller than when you fought the two sons of the Jarl, and two of them look kind of average adult-sized. You are definitely astute in the fact that they are not overly intelligent, and they seem to just be... They seem to be looking for something still. They do seem to still be like pulling up trees, but like losing interest and just like kind of smacking each other with like the branches, and then they'll stop and then go
Fucking
back
around.
and pull up another
They're
tree.
kind of funny.
Like Lav and I could go fuck with them.
Do you think they like treats or something? Like, oh, do you think that they like the smell of something? I could prestidigitation, like, I don't know, like a pie or something, and they smell it, and then they go in the other area, or they see a little flash of light, or I could like draw something on their arm, or I could like do like a sound.
So I like some of that. I was thinking, yeah, we could go together on Fern and try and lure them away, and then you guys try and get in there and get this sword, and then radio us, and then we get the fuck out of here.
Well, I have the feeling you should probably be wherever we're trying to get this sword.
Yeah.
But the distraction's not a bad idea.
Oh, do you think that maybe if I went invisible,
As soon as you cast a spell and you're invisible, though, you'd pop.
I'd pop?
You wouldn't be invisible anymore.
So if you cast invisibility, you're invisible until you cast something else, basically. It's like concentration, but for everything. Another option, I mean, we think we know what they're looking for. If we wanted to confirm that, we just hide, wait for them to pull up a tree, and someone who can illusion shit shows them what they're looking for in a completely wrong area. I don't know what that would actually accomplish.
I know what you mean.
Some kind of...
If some of your party can be invisible and sneak their way into this, it is potentially dangerous, but the marking on the tree will be rather obvious, I would think. Not many trees are engraved with lyrics. At least to an eyes of yours, a giant may not think of such things, but we may know whether they've not found it. You may find it first.
Does anyone speak giant?
I could use prestidigitation and put fake lyrics on a different tree.
She does not speak giant.
That's an option. What was I going to say?
I can comprehend languages.
That could be handy, but can you speak it? No, you can't. You can.
I was just trying to figure out to see what they were saying.
Shit, what was I going to say? Oh, so Dal, it's got lyrics on it though, but like, how would we get to his resting place? Is it a crypt? Is he buried beneath it?
He's just buried beneath the tree.
So if we were to find it, we have to spend time getting his body out. And
it would at least let us know whether he's been found and whether this adventure is fruitless or not. They seem to be searching for something, but they may not know what it is they're searching for. They're rather stupid.
Hondo, I'll go on the earring. Hondo, you have the same thing Lav has, right? You can
go invisible.
Use a ring to figure out if you can eavesdrop on them. Are they talking?
Yeah, they were talking.
They seem to be like shouting things every now and again.
So do you want to use your rings, try and hear what they're shouting at each other?
Yeah, I guess I can.
If you want to save it for something else, you can do that.
You don't have to.
I'll do it.
Okay. You activate the charge of your ring, and you catch what like mid-sentence of one of the giants as it shifts from giant to a common language that you can understand. You hear one saying, "Not here," and another just says, "Well, keep looking." And they continue doing what they're doing. And another, one of the other ones who pulled himself up, one of the younger looking ones, picks up like a huge branch, like a spear, and just throws it at the back of one of the other ones. You see it impact and like embed within the skin. It's, you bastard! You hear them. He turns on him. It's just, well, I'm fucking bored. They just
I message Hondo and I say, yo, Hondo, what am I saying?
Can I even hear this bullshit?
Yes, because she's supposed to be audible on your side.
I have a spell called Mass Suggestion. I've never used it before, but I could try it on them because they might not be smart and try and suggest that they go to a different spot in the forest.
Suggest that they're looking in the wrong place?
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool idea.
I also have this thing where when I try and cast a spell, sometimes it just hurts me instead.
I could do Tasha's hideous laughter. One of them starts laughing on the ground. The other ones are just confused. They're distracted.
Yeah, these are all great options. Why don't we, like Dal mentioned, maybe, Hondo, you want to go invisible, try and get a little look for a tree with some lyrics on it?
Sure.
And we can just keep waiting. And then if you spot that tree, then we could trigger Operation Distraction and see what happens.
I think just keep in mind, if what Val said about invisibility is right, if you try to contact us, your invisibility is going to go away. So just keep an eye on that.
I don't think he's invisible yet. Oh wait, Lav or
no? If he goes invisible,
okay. Oh,
he
yes,
might not be able to, because that's technically sending a message. It's using the message spell, right?
Yeah, it'd be interacting with an object.
So be real stealth-like.
So are you going invisible, or are you going to stealth up before?
I'll go invisible.
Okay, so mark off the spell slot.
Mm-hmm.
And then make a stealth check with advantage as you make your way closer. And you're looking to see if you can find the tree with lyrics on it?
Yep.
Okay. Ooh, there we go.
I know it's a natural 20, bud.
So you're good there. Now make an investigation check for me.
Sure.
Oh, fuck, I thought that was the investigation. Shit.
That was
Roll another one. Come on, buddy.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, what do you add to that? It was 13 on the dice.
Investigation 11.
So
great.
24. So, Honda, you cast invisibility on yourself, and with renewed kind of confidence in your stealth, you don't worry so much about hiding beneath the trees, and you just focus on your footsteps and focus on where you're picking your path, and you begin to push forward and forward through, and more into the wreckage of trees and upturned roots that they've caused, and you get within 10-15 feet of one of these creatures at one point, just as they round around him, are moving suddenly very quickly, headed towards one of the other ones. But you are incredibly quiet and incredibly used to sneaking your way through things like this. And with invisibility, even easier. So you set yourself out about... So how long does invisibility last?
I guess
10
an hour, but
It's 1 hour.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So there's no time constraint here. You're good. You begin searching invisibly amidst these four giants, and just very quickly moving and quietly moving within their party as one of them just punches the other, and you can see a squabble happening just feet from you. Massive shafts of their great axes swing past your head without realizing. You see several, like they've almost destroyed, as you clear forward, almost a full section of forest of these willows have just been terrorized. And you actually see, as you kind of make your way out into this now clearing of fallen trees and bark shattered and destroyed, you do see sign of a piece of bark, and you can see some writing on it. You make your way forward invisibly and kind of cock your head to read it as it's kind of cracked and laying on its side, and you can see Elvish writing on it, that you don't fully understand, as you don't speak Elvish, I don't believe. And it's not full. You can see there should be another side to this broken piece of wood, but it seems the tree itself has been found in this forest. And as you kind of look around, there is indeed a divot of earth ripped from the ground, where you assume there should be a body beneath. What do you do?
So I see a divot, you said.
Seems like the crater in which a tree once sat is just ripped and emptied now. And it looks like the tree of where this was where it should have been.
And are the frost giants nearby?
They're a little further off. They're maybe 30 feet back towards your party. You've moved a little further ahead. They're within 30 feet of you.
Okay, I'm going to dig.
Okay. You clear over this fallen tree, and you begin to dip down into the base of this crater. And immediately as you begin to dig, you dig through fresh earth, but the earth is cold. It's cold to the touch. And as you're shifting and moving things out of the way, your hand connects with something hard and cold. And you pull your hand back, and you can see a frozen body, at least part of it, beneath the earth here.
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna pick it up.
You've hit like this, like an arm section, like you'd have to clear further away.
I'm gonna quickly clear as much as I can, and then I'm gonna start dragging it away.
Okay. You begin to kind of clear, and as you clear across, like you've got the left shoulder and the left arm, and you pull away, and you can see a hand, and you can see it's completely frozen solid. And you clear more away, and you clear across kind of the midsection and across the chest. But as you push the dirt away from the chest and the face, you see a massive crack from neck to midsection, and it's splintered and destroyed. The midsection of this frozen body is just utterly erupted, just shattered into a million pieces. And you can see the head is still beneath the dirt. You clear the other arm, and it doesn't seem to have a blade. And there's
no blade anywhere. Like
you, including like your 24 investigation, I carry through, and you've cleared a considerable amount of space here, and it doesn't seem there's a blade.
I'm gonna message back. I'm gonna ask, guys, do you want? If I find the head, is that good?
Make another stealth check. Your invisibility breaks, but still make it at advantage because you would have been like half invisible as it happened.
Oh, Hondo froze up.
Oh, hey, there 19. We go.
Nice.
Kick back in at a 19. So roll again, see if you get a 20, but you're probably fine. No, 19. It'll stay. So your invisibility breaks as you interact with your earring to call back. But you are still very well hidden and very stealthy in nature, and you whisper back across the ring. This message.
What the fuck do you mean? Do we want a head?
Do you want the head or do you not want the head?
Did you find the guy?
I found the head. Do you want it or not?
I want the blade.
There's no blade. It's just head.
Okay, so, tell me what you have found. You found him, and he has no blade on him?
No blade.
What does he
just the
look
head.
like? What is he wearing? What does he look like?
There's just a head.
It's difficult to make out what he was wearing, as literally like the midsection is destroyed, like it's shattered.
Yeah,
you can see like he was wearing like a nice shirt on his arms. Maybe it's hard to tell.
So I'll tell Dal that's what he said and be like, "Is that how he died? And he was frozen in ice? Is that how you buried him?"
No, he was whole when we laid him to rest, and he had the blade with him.
But Hondo, you said
He's just head and like a little like scraps of things everywhere.
Okay, I don't want any part of him now. But you mentioned they said they're still looking for it. Did they say something like they can't find it?
Yes, they are still looking.
So maybe this is a distraction.
They're idiots though. They could find it and not even know.
What do you mean, Mary? That's a distraction.
Maybe this is trying to let him get further north. It's already been found. It's already been taken. I don't know. How long ago, when the Earth was upturned, Hondo, did it look like it had been like that for a while? Had this grave been disturbed recently or a long time?
It looked fairly fresh.
Yeah, it looked pretty fresh.
Incredibly.
And we don't give a shit about these giants.
Yeah, then maybe just sneak back here. Maybe we were just too late.
But why would the giants remain?
Can you talk to trees or anything cool, Dal? Can you talk to forest spirits or anything fun?
I can.
We also know the Feywild's pretty tricksy.
I can, but again, it will use up my ability to take us back via trees.
Hey, what about this? Let's imagine this. He finds the body. He looks. It's not there. In frustration, he smashes a hole in this guy. He's so fucking pissed, and then freezes him. So maybe it's still around here, which means some sort of fey creature could have taken it. It could still be around here underneath a different tree.
Okay, what about this?
Hondo, by the way, please keep hiding for now.
Yeah, Hondo, maybe you should find somewhere to.
He's very stealth. He's okay.
Okay.
Come back.
Find some way to get these giants out of this area so they're not a problem for us anymore. Whether it's an illusion or fucking something. Give them something to chase for a little bit. We can all get in wherever this area is and see if there's any signs, anything. If Dahlia can confirm anything she knew that's different from when it was earlier, rather just us all be together.
I can go and investigate the grave, but how do we get rid of the giants?
Yeah, I can take care of that. That's not a problem.
Excellent.
Let me just think of the dumbest way I can do this.
Here, perhaps I can aid you, in fact.
Oh.
She puts a hand to your chest and says, "Let her white light warm your heart and melt that frigid bite. But for a moment, do this deed." She casts Greater Restoration on you.
Cool.
For a minute, you do not have the effects of this spell.
Weird thing. So I can either do, I can try mass suggestion, but they have to speak my language, which is the thing. I don't know if these frost giants do or not.
Yeah, I wouldn't bank on that.
So I think I should just go try and distract them myself.
Val, I think you need to go wherever this is. You need to get an eye on this.
Okay, then how do we distract them away?
Does anyone else have any ideas too?
You got telekinesis. Use telekinesis and smash a tree over.
You guys are glitching out.
Did we lose him?
For one of the What's your simple plan?
Okay, hang on. You just froze up, and you're still frozen.
I don't know. I still kind of want to
A
use.
small pie for a huge giant.
They're both
It's
just
not
still
making
going.
It's making them smell something. It's making them see something. It's making them
Hey, hold on.
soil themselves. I do that to Hondo all the time.
Did you
We
guys not
definitely
freeze?
missed.
Or did
No,
freeze?
we
It
just
was
you
you.
guys froze. We
You
just
guys are
missed
frozen
the
the
whole
whole
last
time.
minute of conversation. It was just frozen.
Oh,
I thought you guys had froze. I didn't notice.
Nope.
We were
No, it was
trying to
you
come up with a
guys.
plan. Right.
Okay.
All good.
And we're back.
And we're back. Well, listen, she cast this on me. We have to do things quickly. Maybe
I don't know if this makes it any better, but I mean, I can speak with them once they're dead. We can get answers that way. But that involves killing
That
them.
involves murdering them. Like if Fern and I just fly up, we could just try and distract them. I know you want me on the ground here, but I also have minor illusion.
Can they create confusion?
What does confusion do? What does it say? Creatures' minds, each creature, radius centered on. Cool.
Hunter, are you just hanging out in the little hole
They might still stay
beneath the
in
tree?
area.
Yep.
Chilling with the dead guy? Cool.
Yep. Just picking at it, looking.
Make another stealth check, just straight up, as you
What if-
begin to hear.
What if I create the wall of stone and you just run back?
What if you and Fern,
Getting
you go on
closer to you.
Fern, you
Okay.
go on Fern, you fly up, and then you use telekinesis and just start smashing them with trees and just try and lure them away.
These guys can't fly, so I'll just go higher if they grab for me.
Does that sound like an okay plan with you guys?
Yeah, that could work.
All right,
Let's do it.
I feel like you're just throwing me in there willy-nilly. Everybody's like, yeah, okay, fuck it, that might work.
I'll
We'll
just
just
do it.
throw her in there.
I'll just do it if you want.
Okay, this is stupid. I'll do it.
Okay. Lavender, you get on top of Fern.
If anything bad happens, just dimension door to the ground, and Fern will fly away.
I cast telekinesis at a level 5 and ignore
Verbal and
Valentine.
somatic. Sorry. Gotcha. Ignore Valentine. Make a wild magic surge roll.
Oh,
I can't wait. 10.
Okay.
I don't want in it.
You summon the magic to you, and you have that cast for what, a minute? How long is the concentration?
that's a while.
I think it's like
thought.
10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Sick.
Yeah.
Cool.
Up to 10 minutes.
And what are you doing?
You got this. Just trust in Fern. I inspire you.
Okay.
I fly up and I with telekinesis, I grab Valentine's hand and I smack himself in his face and then I fly away.
Easy enough? You were
There's
not
a bunch
expecting
of
it?
trees
What
that
happens?
those giants have like picked up and thrown around, so they're already loose.
Yep.
So I kind of go behind one of them and I pick one up and I throw it and I make it look as though the other giant did it again.
Okay. Make a stealth check at disadvantage.
Nice.
Cool. 12 was the lowest, plus 7, so 19.
Okay. And then make for telekinesis. Is it like if you're gonna throw something, it's an attack roll, or what's the
Oh, I
manipulate?
don't know. I've never thought about that. Object weighs up to 1,000 pounds.
You can exert fine control with your telekinetic grip. Do you want to just still hold on to it, or you just want to throw it? I guess you said throw.
Yeah, ability check when your spellcasting ability.
Tested by strength. I think
So
it'd be up to you.
let's say it's
Yeah.
a spell attack roll.
So you're gonna add plus 10 to this.
Plus 10?
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
So 26.
With telekinesis, you haul up one of these willow trunks, and let's roll 4d10.
4d10.
Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah, this one,
We got
this
6.
one. 10.
Plus 10. 16. Plus 9. Ooh.
One more.
Plus 2. So what was that?
So 16 plus 11.
Yeah. So
27.
30. Yeah. 27.
27.
27. Yeah, you slam into the back of this one giant, and he just and immediately looks to the nearest giant who was not paying attention, and he just picks up a tree himself and just throws it at the other giant, and he turns, and you do see one of them glance up in your direction. Despite your decent roll, you're still just kind of flying up in space. You're still making sound with like Fern flapping wings, and one of them is like and kind of begins to move in your direction, while the other two are just like punching each other in the face.
Get them to follow you. Keep it going.
I can't talk to them because I can't talk their language.
Use motions.
But
If you cast another spell, by the way, telekinesis would drop.
Yeah, I'm not going to cast another spell, but I just like give a little wave, and I kind of like squeeze Fern, and hopefully he's like, and then I pick up another one of those trees.
Yep.
And I start like, instead of throwing it, I start like stroking it on the one guy's back. I'm like waving it up and down to like kind of give him a scratch on the back. He's like, what the?
Okay. As you do that, he grabs it with one hand and stops it. Make a just charisma check, essentially.
In Fernie's ear, I'm just like, hey, Fernie, be careful. That guy might throw that thing at you.
It has to be intentional.
Oh, yeah, okay. You ready?
This has a thing about strength checks. Sorry. It's like make an ability check with your spellcasting ability contested by the creature's strength check.
Yeah, that's what this charisma check
So
versus
just plus
his
5.
strength.
Is this a save?
Nope,
No.
just +5.
Oh. Okay, 10.
He, as you kind of are petting his back with it, he kind of turns and just destroys it and looks to the other guys and just says, and the other two look up, and the other one, Hondo, the one that was making his way towards you, you hear just as he leaves from you, and all 4 of them begin to rush in Lavender's direction, and you're gonna have to roll initiative.
Cool.
Oh, cool. 11.
Do you want to add my thing? So you can add that. You can also add my thing if you want.
That plus 3?
Yeah, you can also add a D10 if you want because you have inspiration. It's up to you.
Oh, yeah, dope.
Or you can save that for like a con save or something.
She rolled it.
Oh, fuck, I already rolled it. 17.
Plus 3, so 20.
Plus 3, so 20.
Okay,
Oops.
Oh, cool.
you are
can also do
first
that.
in this initiative.
That's cool.
What do you do?
You go first. So you can just keep flying away or whatever you want.
Oh, yeah. I lift Fern up a little higher. I'm a bit concerned at this point that they're
How
going to
high
throw...
do you want to be?
Fuck, how strong are these guys?
Fern can go 80 feet.
I go that high.
You go 80? Okay.
Yeah. But as I'm going, I go, wow, you're strong. Good job. And then I like go up higher. Am I allowed to still lift something with telekinesis? Because
As long as you're within range of the spell. Yep.
okay. I lift another stick or like tree. I lift
Yeah,
like
like
a
a
literal
trunk.
tree. And I like throw it ahead and I say, go get it, boy. Go get it, doggy.
Okay.
Nice
You-
sister.
You throw it and it's and none of them seem to care. Whether they are just not incentivized or don't understand what you're saying, you're not entirely sure.
Okay.
The rest of you guys and Hondo, you guys see 4 giants looking up at Lavender, who is now kind of 80 feet up in the air on Fern. Do any of you guys do anything, or do you let this play?
Let's start getting closer.
I agree. Let's try to sneaky.
Okay, then everyone make a stealth check as you make your way closer. As they take their turn, Lavender is 80 feet, and each of them grabs trunks and branches of willow trees. 2 are going to throw at Fern, and 2 are going to throw at Lav. You're all kind of amalgam of stuff. But let's do the first 2 at Fern.
What's their range on this? Is it disadvantage at all? Or is
Yeah,
it okay?
they're at disadvantage.
Okay, that's good for you.
But disadvantage is a 19 to hit Fern.
Yeah, his AC is 14.
Okay,
Literal trees.
so that's 1. Oh, wow. Fern takes 32 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Second one at Fern. That is only a 12 to hit.
Miss.
1 at Lav. Was an 18, and then it's a natural 2. Is an 11 to hit.
Oh.
And another at Lavender. That one's gonna hit. That's a 22.
That'll do.
She's 22.
Okay.
Yeah, that hit. A literal tree just hit me in the air, so
19.
that's a pretty bad day.
35 points of bludgeoning damage to Lavender. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
I am.
Nice.
So I got 28.
Easy enough. You maintain concentration despite being clipped by the edge of a very large tree. As both, when Fern gets hit, you're spun in the seat. Two other logs come pass over top of you and clatter into the hills behind, and one other one just clips the top of your head as it almost would have missed, but just hits you. What was stealth checks for everybody else?
I got 17.
Okay.
Me too.
21.
Okay.
Gordo.
25.
Nice.
Oh, I gotta do Delia. Okay. Wow. Yeah, she rolled a natural 18. You guys can get to a little bit closer, more comfortably. But they all seem to be pressing in closer to Lavender, just like moving beneath her position as she's kind of flying up in the air. But it's Lavender's turn.
You should get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. There's no reason for me to be there anymore, right?
You're just like trying to distract them away.
Oh, yeah. So if I dimension door, can I take Fern with me? If I twin spell it?
If you twin spell, yes, but not based on just dimension dooring. It has to be a creature of the same size as you. But if you twin spell it, yes, so you can spend the sorcery points to do it.
Okay. I think I'll do that. I'll twin spell it. Like, as a bonus, can I just, like, do something to wave goodbye?
Sure.
Oh, I can't think of anything good.
Like a fun line to say?
Yeah.
Just give them a wave. They can't really understand you.
Can I just, like, can I do, like, a prestidigitation as an added?
Sure, what is it?
Can I make one guy shit his pants?
Hey, now you gotta
Yeah, of course. Why not?
I'm gonna make the guy in front shit his pants.
Sure.
So that
Sure.
they all have to run into him.
Feels like he pooped his pants.
Yeah.
Not
He
made
feels like he does. so he
Feels
kinda
and
trips
smells
up.
like.
Yeah, he kind of trips himself up.
Yeah.
And I say, "Don't be scared." And then I dimension door out of there, right back to where everyone else is.
Okay. In a puff and cloud of pink and purple smoke, you disappear and reappear a little further back than where everyone else was, as they pushed in as you engaged. And actually, you don't see any of your friends. They've managed to stealth pretty well, and your passive sucks. So
Sure it does.
you pull back, and you're looking around, and suddenly your friends aren't around you.
And I look at Fern and I say, "Oh, I guess it's just you and me now, boy. I knew that I would always become your owner. That other guy sucks. Look at how well we just did back there."
Fern is very hurt.
Okay, the giants, as the rest of you who've moved closer, they begin to kind of look around, just like in all directions, and then the one of them kind of pulls away a little bit further, and just like kind of walks off a little further away, kind of towards Hondo's direction. But the other three, they just kind of look, and then let's see, where are they gonna go?
Oh god.
Yeah, they begin to move towards Hondo. Slowly, they're beginning to make their trek north. Hondo, make another stealth check. Yeah.
Nice.
You're good. As you guys wait and watch, the four giants begin to kind of just continue off to the north. There's the sound of their heavy footfalls becomes a faint echo and then fades in time. They don't seem to be sticking around.
Okay, go. We need to do this quick.
You guys make your way into this battle-hardened clearing.
Telepathically tell Fern to bring Lav to us wherever the fuck he is.
And I'm looking at Fern saying, it's so weird that guy was so unfazed that guy shit his pants.
You take.
Do they always shit their pants?
I mean,
That always works on Hondo, Fern. It just, that grosses us out, but didn't gross him out at all.
he takes to the sky
Whoa!
and then dive bombs down towards Valentine. And as like Hercules, he just and bumps Lavender off onto the ground.
Good boy.
Excuse you.
Okay, we gotta go
Fern.
quick. We don't know if they can come back. Great job, Lav. That was interesting, but it worked.
well. All right.
Thank you.
How you doing?
So Dal, we're here. He seemed pissed that they couldn't find it.
Indeed, it was ahead here, and she kind of points, and you begin making your way towards the crater, in which you see Hondo just kind of sat beside a frozen, now cleared away and destroyed corpse. And you see Dahlia kind of look away in disgust. She says, "That's him."
So you could talk. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry. Could you talk to him? I know that might be painful, but could you talk to him and as well be able to tree stride us away?
I could, but it won't do us any good. The dead only know what they were alive for.
That makes sense.
So when can I take a look at Kyle at his chest wound and try to figure out what kind of weapon created it? Like if it had to be one of the giant ginormous axes or something else?
Mhm.
So
Make a medicine. Make a medicine check.
This is not my forte, guys. Ooh, I rolled a natural one.
Looks pretty gross.
It's very
frozen.
It's very difficult to tell. It like you can see there is a singular point of origin, but beyond that, it's just pulverized ice and flesh.
All right.
So let's quick recap. Likely, if they were still looking, they didn't find it. Something might have taken it after you placed the sword here. Or I think that's really the only logical thing, right? Or could the trees have moved it? Could it be inside this tree? Can I investigate the tree that has the writing on it?
Sure. Make an investigation check.
Great. 16 plus 7 is 23?
Yeah.
Right? Is it?
You find the first chunk, and you see that part of the bark is like shattered, and you can see a section of like half a song or something. But you see the tree that is kind of pulled up and uprooted nearest, and you can see a section where it was splintered off of, and you piece it together, and you can make out a short section of a song. And actually, it's actually kind of familiar to you. It's an elven-based like lullaby that has been somewhat personalized and rewritten to fit for this figure. But beyond that, you see no sign of a sword hidden within the tree or any cavity where the sword may be hidden. But you certainly found the tree and the burial site. Dahlia, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go, Dal.
She's just saying, I really don't understand. I mean, of course it could mean someone has come along and found the blade and took it up as their own. But a blade... The moon blades and staffs like mine and rings like that of Sylvanas, they only answer to certain figures, and oftentimes it is based in bloodline. My staff was passed to me by my mother and by her mother and her mother before her. Atraxia came to Nova by his uncle and his grandfather before him, and so on and so forth. Sylvanas was the first of our order, so to speak, to not receive a weapon out of blood, but out of station. Through his deeds that he performed on your home and here, became a champion of Titania, and as such was chosen alongside us. Tarathian had no heir. There's no blood to take over.
So then what if the blade didn't want to be found by him?
The blade in itself is intelligent, but it has no free will. It cannot move. The only one who could retrieve it, who at least knew where it was, would be Titania herself.
Titania did say something like proving yourself worthy to take this.
Perhaps it's a test.
I look at Brawley because it sounds like she wanted to say something.
No, I just said, oh shit, she moved it?
Yeah, potentially.
I feel like maybe I'm mistaken. If another agent of another Archfey or even Aurelia, or if this crow were to hold the blade and somehow the blade accept them, I find it surprising that Titania would not know. I find it confusing. However, if a creature such as the Duke Cartha were to find it, he would not use it. He would seek to destroy it or take it for his own. But why leave the giants here? Perhaps Titania still hides it. Or you are to prove yourself and gain it that way, rather than just taking it. It needs to be earned.
Yeah.
Valentine, do you have a ping on what's his face? How far away is he getting?
Close my eyes.
He seems to be directly north and beginning to head a little west. First tick west by about an hour and a half, edging into 2 hours.
Yeah, he's still moving north, but now a little bit west.
As you also kind of using the map always as guide in this, every time you go through this process, that would take him off of Everbloom, but not quite onto Deep Winter.
That little island?
It would be on the western edge or eastern edge of that island, for sure.
Well, I mean, we haven't completed our first mission that we abandoned to rush here, but it is good to know that he didn't get this blade. Yeah, it is curious. Why would he come for it?
She said maybe it was to try to destroy it. He already destroyed one. Maybe he knew this was an alternative.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to destroy connections to her, trying to weaken her.
Dahlia kind of reacts in favor of that idea. Just if his purpose is to weaken her and he seems to have a vendetta against you, this would be the logical choice, is trying to destroy myself or Nova. He seemed to not find Celiandar, the ring of Sylvanas.
I found that, by the way.
That is good to hear. Hopefully it will find a new one to call home.
So, Is there any other blade he might be after? I guess he's moving to the northwest now, and that could be towards the Unseelie Court or some sort of base. Maybe our goal is to just complete our first mission now.
Can you, they're still moving, right? You said, sorry?
It seems faint, but yes.
Do we want to pursue now? Or do we want to try to get a good look at something with that crystal? I know it takes 10 minutes, so we're giving them a 10-minute head start.
I don't feel any desire to pursue them, to like get an eyes on them. I kind of like knowing where they are, and I mean, if they aren't rushing towards the Summer Queen, I feel good about it. We do know there is a portal in the northwest that maybe they would want to use.
Well, the portal, sorry to speak out of turn, but the Fey Crossing is within the realm of Deepwinter, and she points on the map to the northwest corner.
Mm-hmm.
There's a cavern at the base of the mountain. She points it. It's there.
So they could eventually make their way there.
I see no reason as to why they would make their way there until their mission here is complete.
Yeah.
We don't know what their mission here is.
Well, maybe we go see the Unseelie Court. Go back to square one. This crisis was averted, and we gain the knowledge that he doesn't have this sword. He's probably pissed about it.
But we still don't know what he's doing. Didn't we specifically come here to try to get an eye on what their plan actually is?
In all honesty, my goal was to come here and try and rescue this blade and keep it out of his hands. So
Sorry, I mean the goal upon leaving your patron. We didn't know about the blade at this point. But we told her we were going to go try to do.
Oh yeah, and then I thought our goal was to go to the Unseelie Court, make a connection there, and see if we could get an ally or see if they have any info on him.
Perhaps they are of a realm of winter. Perhaps they know more about the ring. That could give us a lead.
And we could ask about the Ring of Winter.
My purpose, truthfully, was to come here when we found out about the blade. Tarathian was a warrior poet, so to speak. He was a storied individual, and he carried stories through his blood. With the blade, he was able to learn many things. And I had truthfully hoped that, should you be its next bearer, through the blade we would learn quite a bit, good anyways, about the Dubkatha, the ring, anything. It has many stories to tell.
Well, it seems like Titania's keeping the blade until I've maybe proved myself worthy of it, so...
Yes.
I want to get her read on that. How does she
totally
feel
just
about
gonna
that?
say that.
Make an insight check.
Mine's not great. 13.
Is Mary doing one?
I was going to.
Do it.
Get it.
Should I do one?
33.
It's not 33. I don't think I can roll a 33 yet.
I like that yet.
I can roll a 31. I will get there, as long as she doesn't die. That is straight 20.
Okay.
Oh, wait, yes, sorry. Yeah, straight 20.
Val, she just seems kind of unsure. There's a lot going on here, and she feels equally as lost as any of you. Mary, she much of the same. She just feels in that moment uncertain and not doubtful of her patron, but just wondering, confused as to why you wouldn't empower an individual of your court if you could, or what the purpose of these tests would be when there's so much at stake.
All right, so option number 3. Use tree door to go back to go see the Summer Queen and fucking ask her and then she can send us wherever we want to go.
So go back and ask her, hey, do you have the sword?
I mean, we can flat out tell her they were looking for this sword. That's information. That's shit we didn't know before.
That's fair.
In theory, that's what we were sent here to try to figure out. Or what we said we were coming here to try to figure out.
Yep.
Flat out fucking ask. If she says, oh shit, no, I don't know where it is, maybe that's what we pursue. We gotta get a bead on how important it is to find this blade before we go figure out what we're gonna do next. Or after.
I'm totally down with it.
How long have we been up, Kyle?
It's been a couple of hours, but not quite the end of the day.
Okay. That's another option. Or we try to find more information before we do that.
Why don't we just go back and ask her? We visited every season in the Feywild today. So why don't we just go back to the Summer Isle and go ask her? I think you make a really good point. Like,
presented as to, here's the information we learned. We think it's important. Do you think it's important? Is there anything else that this sheds light on that we might not know? What's the point of running around blind and wasting time?
Sal, how do you feel about that? You feel good?
You see she's kind of not making eye contact and just kind of quiet, and as you address her, she's, I feel the edge of mistrust in your voices. It's disheartening and displeasing of my patron, of our queen. I do not think it's misplaced necessarily. You've seen hard times and had little to trust. But I know, in your heart, Valentine, there's no ill will of the Summer Queen here. What she does for her own reasons, and in time we'll know.
If
you
we
have to have
do,
faith.
yeah. If we do go this route, with the returning to her with more information, perhaps it might not hurt to try to take the 10 minutes to scry on the Jarl and at least see what the fuck is going on with them. We can't scry on the Dukatha, apparently. But at the very least, you've seen this other motherfucker, so you can take a look at him. That's 2 pieces of information we come with. Or, like you said, Valentine, we could just make our way to the Winter Court, or whatever it's called, unseal Court.
Gord, shut up.
Could you guys hear Oliver? He's at the front fucking window. I think he saw a cat and he's driving me insane.
He saw Gord.
That was so perfect.
I will nod, and I'll give Dal a long look, and then I'll take out the crystal ball and be like, can you guys maybe set up a little camp, just make sure we're okay here, and I'll dive into this and see what I can find from the Jarl.
Okay. Dal kind of sits a little further away, just kind of lost in thought. As Valentine, you sit down. Do you guys want to keep a watch? It's only 10 minutes, right, for this? Or is it an hour?
Yeah, so just all of you keep a watch.
Yeah.
I'll give either 2 people can do perception checks or 1 with advantage, and that'll encompass the group, rather than doing everyone individually.
Whoever has good perception.
I can do it.
Okay. In the meantime, Valentine, you settle in and look into the crystal ball, focusing on. Oh, that's good.
Juice. Oh God, it's not out of juice.
Focusing on the image that you saw in the scry ritual, essentially, of the Bloodstone, and your memory of this giant king. And you close your eyes and you focus on his image, and as you look into the shadow and smoke of the crystal ball, it begins to crystallize and almost like a frozen snow globe in your hands freeze, and you are drawn within this freezing tundra of blisteringly cold and blasting wind. There you go. Of bright blue light. And you start looking down from above, down onto a frigid island in a frozen Arctic expanse. And a sweep of snow blankets the vision, and your eye shifts once more, and you are within a icy cavern, glistening blue walls. And you hear this constant rhythmic sound of metal crashing into ice. And again, your vision kind of swims through this tunnel of ice. And it rounds a corner, and you see a rather large group of these giants, but one central, standing atop this tall kind of hunk of ice amidst this massive cavern. And you can see there's a faint glowing from beneath, and all of these giants have axe in hand and slamming into the ground, carving away hunks of ice. This Jarl figure in heavy kind of patchwork leathers and metal plate, kind of adorned. He's calling out and pointing down at this space, and he brings this massive weapon up over his head, and you see he says something in a language you do not understand, and across his form veins bulge blue, and his arms and size seems to grow and ripple in strength as he brings this weapon, this great axe, high overhead, and with a ripple wave splinters and shatters the ice around. And where he pulls his axe away, this faint blue light begins to grow in strength. Close to this Jarl figure, as you see this light kind of underlighting his face, this wicked grin of ice across a white, heavy beard and dark blue eyes. You see at his side, kind of stepping around, another figure from your past, and not one you would have expected here. Alien skull beneath a face of tendrils, a black and red robed mind flayer stands beside with a hand up to the elbow. He's not tall enough to reach the shoulder. The elbow of this giant, and with a wordless understanding and appreciation, they both look at one another. The Jarl hollers a shout of inspiration and a battle cry, and with a ringing off of the glassy icen cavern, this horde of giants howl and yell in unison, triumphant. Your vision returns to you. And that's where we'll pick up next week.
That sounds awful.
Well, I'm glad we took a look.
By the way, for people on stream or watching this,
Yeah, a little backstory. Long ago, before Lavender and before Allie, was Allie there?
Allie
I was there.
You were there? Okay.
For what? For Val's dad stuff?
Yeah, I get lost in the timeline.
She was there for the battle. She started with the whole battle for Arendelle.
That's right. My
Yes.
mistake. So
Right
before
for Val.
Lavender, yeah, Val had some daddy issues that had to be taken care of in the Shadowfell And within the Shadowfell, there was a domain of dread owned and operated by Azrael Umbrasil, Shadow son and father to Valentine. And within, amidst a couple of other lackeys and coven mates, there was this Mind Flayer servant.
Hondo.
This
is your boy.
Almost ate
Hondo and
Hondo's
he
brain.
got
His
super
brain.
close with.
Tried
However,
bargaining with him.
yeah, Hondo tried to convince him to be on his side. It didn't go well. But as the battle commenced and completed within this domain of dread, he pieced the fuck out of there. No one could stop him from leaving.
Came so close to killing him.
He was on death's door, and he got the fuck out, and now seems to have made a triumphant return.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time as the Wildcards attempt to extract the crow's secrets from the shadows, though perhaps draw too closely into the darkness themselves. There will be a new episode up every Tuesday, so stay tuned. But until then, keep exploring.